Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as I hope and I pray that we always do. I'm just a question asker. I'm not important. My name is Raheem Ajume, but we have my brother from another mother, but we got the same father with us early this morning. This is Mr. Hicks. Good morning, Mr. Hicks. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. It's a bright day, good day. Doing fine. Pray everybody is doing well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Doing well, doing well. We the early birds this morning, Miss Hicks. We the first ones here, so we're gonna go ahead and get this conversation started. And Miss Hicks, I'm gonna ask you a question because
Hmm.
you might be an expert on this topic. I'm gonna ask you. And let me say good morning to ID and good morning to Lou. Good morning to both of y'all. Glad to have you. The phone lines are open 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We definitely love to hear from you. Mr. Hicks, I was having a conversation with
Hmm.
somebody, I think it was Sunday, and a young lady, friend girl of mine, and she asked me this
Hmm.
question, and I was like, wow. I don't know. I see. I'll pose it at some point on the Morning Glow because I know that my folks gonna be able to tell us what it is. But she was asking me what is it, and it's dealing with a relationships and stuff like that. She was asking me
Hmm.
what are some of the conversations that most people, even in a relationship that's been in a relationship for a long time, should have, but they just don't. What are some of those things, Hicks? Help us understand. Help me understand.
Oh, wow. I guess so many things you have to discuss as you go along and grow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so much, so much of, so much is getting to know each other.
Mm-hmm.
So that process is going to require a lot of commitment. The relationship require a lot of communication,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
negotiating, uh, putting out there what each one expects, what they want,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to find ways to compromise and men to
Mm-hmm.
meet in the middle because it's two different personalities, two different views on life. You want to be equally yoked, like someone who, sometimes I think equally yoked is someone who thinks just like you
Mm-hmm.
know, and wants what you want, and everybody wants different things, and they see different things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, in a relationship, should you have a conversation? And this is early, and this is almost putting the cart before the horse. Good morning, Cassandra. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good
Uh,
morning, Cassandra.
I'm gonna
Good morning.
I'm gonna come right back to you in just a second. But Mr. Hicks, let me ask you this question along those same lines. Um, Two people just got together. They decided to be in a relationship. They decided to move forward. Should children, whether they want children or desire to have children or are thinking about having children, should that be a part of the conversation? Because that's I mean
Oh,
that's early in it right there, man. That might scare somebody off.
well, you're gonna always risk of scaring someone off or offending someone when you speak what you truly feel.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the key is try to not get bitterness and anger in it and ego involved.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
but but relationships, even siblings relationship and cousins and aunts, they all relationships that are
Mm-hmm.
negotiated.
Mm-hmm.
The more intimate the relationship, the more personal it is, and start talking about those very personal things about everything.
Mm-hmm.
Sex, money, finances, how you gonna work it out, and what's the structure, and have
Mm-hmm.
the flexibility to maybe set some things in the beginning that you want to change in the future on both parts, and sort of working toward it. But the communication is the key, and that feeling of love.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was thinking about what love is. That kind of love. Love is like a love. It's a emotion, energy, and motion
Mm-hmm.
that makes you feel good. That
Mm-hmm.
makes you happy.
Okay.
But,
Now, I'm gonna go to Cassandra in just one second, but I gotta ask you. You said something, man. The first couple of conversations that you have when y'all decide, because y'all been growing together, and naturally, y'all hopefully y'all know each other and know certain things about each other, and that's what drew you to each other. In that first couple of conversations, you should talk about sex and what you like sexually. I mean, don't you supposed to wait a certain amount of time before y'all lay down and do that adult activities?
well, you got to know what the expectations are. Society around has got so many false expectations on young women and young men. You got to agree. Are you going to have sex before you get married? Is marriage is your destination? That's what you're looking at,
Mm-hmm.
or you just flinging?
Wow.
Just flinging and having fun.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. That's good. That's good. Cassandra, asking a question. I had a conversation with a friend girl of mine. I talk to everybody, and she happened to be a real good friend of mine, almost like a sister to me. And she was asking me about relationships. And because my wife and I, man, in 2 days, actually, we would have been married at anniversary, 26 years. And she was asking me, what is it, relationship wise? What conversations should people have in the beginning portions of the relationship before they even move forward and get into the serious deep waters? So Cassandra, she asked me like this. She said, what are some of the conversations that most people should have that they don't have in the beginning of a relationship? Cassandra, what do you say to that?
Yeah, health is one. Sex is definitely one for me. Um, uh,
So
finances.
so
If
so
you're talking about, you said they're moving forward with the relationship.
yes, yes.
So
Y'all gonna talk about
finances would
sex?
be one.
Y'all gonna talk about sex,
And
Cassandra? Cassandra,
the reason I start, hmm?
yeah, y'all in the beginning, in the first couple of conversations, y'all gonna talk about sex and what you like, what you don't.
But
Y'all.
listen, Raheem, people having sex on the first dang on date.
Go ahead, girl.
What the heck? Come on now, let's just be honest. I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about Christian people having
Mm-hmm.
sex on the first dang on date. So
Mm.
yeah, we need to know something and sex about it. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
I mean, there's some hot women out here. There's some hot women out here just as much as there's some hot men. And them sisters having sex on the first date.
Mm.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Wow.
You
Wow.
know, so that to me is a major issue because that's a no for me. Other Christian women, they don't see no problem with it. They'll do the horizontal mambo, in the first few dates or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I won't do that. Um, and then the other thing is health, and the reason I say that is because my ex-husband, we never talked about health before we got married.
Mm-hmm.
And both of us had sickle cell trait, which I did not know. And my
Mm.
daughter ended up with sickle cell disease.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Wow.
essential to talk. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's something you need to talk about. Yeah.
Okay. Now, and the phone lines are open. If anybody's listening to it, we got quite a few people that's tuned in already. Glad to have each and every one of you. Give us a call, 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We definitely love to hear from you. Mr. Hicks, now, sex, y'all are just getting into this thing, and Cassandra's absolutely right. There's people that have not even gotten to the situation where they're in a relationship and they still laying down with each other and doing a lot of juice swapping a lot of juices and fluids. Um, why? What? At what point? And what did you say? And how deep do you go with this conversation? The things I like, what I don't like, don't do this. Should you go into all those different things and how long I want it, or not, how long I want the activity to be on. Should you talk about all that?
Well, everything depends on the people involved.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on their level of spirituality. What are they basing their principles they're basing their life on?
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest. I ask those kind of questions.
Wow.
And when I came back from the war and out of prison, I had grown a lot in a lot of ways what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
And but at the same time, I was naive.
Mm-hmm.
Naive about uh, uh, how women think and what they need in
Mm-hmm.
terms of not just to maintain. So I had that in place. I believe that I should have been a maintainer. I paid the rent, I paid the bills, and I did those kind of things. But at the same time, uh, I missed a lot of the other things. I was married for 32 years before I got divorced,
Mm-hmm.
and part of it was change of life, children's growing up, the nest getting empty, and trying to figure out to fill the void, and I think the worst thing can happen in any relationship, any kind of intimate relationship, is when you allow other voices to come inside your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
you decide begin to listen to people outside of relationships. I wouldn't do that, bro, and all that stuff. but that sort of cause confusion. I'm kind of guy. I'm not gonna fight with you to be what I call submissive. And submissive is not let me walk over you. Submissive is just listening to my my perceptions.
Mm-hmm.
Because I
Mm-hmm.
always am a person that always studying about this thing, trying to figure out why we're here, who we're here, what God is, and how it fits in our life. So I guess sometimes you grow more than another person.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But
That's good. That's good. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Cassandra, church, religion, spirituality.
mm,
Should that be a part of the conversation? What you like, who you praise, and who you live high, spirituality. Should you talk about that? Talk about people being.
Absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely, because as Christians, the Bible says, how can two walk together except they agree? And it also says that we should not be unequally yoked with unbelievers. So then there are several reasons why, scripturally, I'm talking about for Christians, scripturally, why we should discuss religion. Now, I do have a couple friends of mine from, I mean, I've known them for years, and he is Muslim and she's Christian, and
Mm-hmm.
they've been together probably over 30 years. I know it's over 30 years, and it works for them. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? It works for them. They decided to let the children decide, which way they wanted to go as far as that's unusual though. They just because most people I know, men especially, no, they're gonna be the religion that I am,
Mm-hmm.
But this
Mm-hmm.
guy, I guess he loved her enough that he was like, we'll let the kids decide. They can go to mosque with me, they can go to, church with you, and then we'll let them decide
Mm-hmm.
when they're of age which way they want to go.
And see, you say that, but you don't know how close you're hitting home, because for a long time I practiced Islam myself, and that was the situation I was in.
Hmm.
The young lady that I was with, that I had my first two daughters by, she was Christian,
Wow.
and yes, she was Christian,
Hmm.
and then my wife now, when she and I got together, and we, she was Christian, and I was still practicing
Hmm.
Islam at that time. I was still
Hmm. Hmm.
actively practicing Islam, and
Hmm. Hmm.
we started having kids, and we had a conversation, what are we gonna do now? We got kids, what direction are they gonna go in? And we decided that we'll take them both places, and
Yes.
let them make the
Wow.
decision. Yeah, we decided we'll take them sometime, we'll take them to the mosque, other time we'll take them to the church,
Hmm.
and every time we went there, we went together as a family. We went to the mosque,
Hmm.
as a family. Nobody,
Yeah.
not no, I'm going over here, y'all going over there. No. And
Yeah.
when we went to the
Yeah.
church, we went to the church as a family, and
Wow.
let them absorb from both worlds.
Yeah.
And see, people don't understand how, even though they say there's two
Yeah.
different worlds, there's so many similarities. There are more similarities than there are differences, and
Yeah.
a lot of come down to the verbiage that is used.
Yeah.
And so
Mm.
we allow them to grow, and decide which direction they want to go in, and they had different they want different directions. Some want to go the Christian
Mhm.
route, other want to go the Muslim route, the Islamic route. And so we allowed them the opportunity to do that until they became old enough, and grown, and now they naturally they can make their own decisions. And so that's something that we had to deal with as a family. But I'm not people. Some people say, well, that's terrible. No, it worked out. It worked for us. It worked out for us. Can't say that our experience can be everybody's experience, but it worked well for us. And that's what we decided to do. Mr. Hicks, what's on your heart, sir?
well, I was thinking. I don't know. I was thinking about my personal life. You said that stuff and just brought up uh, so many past memories. Um, all right, when I how can I say it? I guess I talk in the religious language. When I was delivered from certain psychological and spiritual and mental dilemmas, I looked at my life and I decided I knew I needed change, but I didn't know what the change was.
Mm-hmm.
And and I had this epiphany. I guess you call it epiphany, it's stuff like that. And I saw the weight that was on me, and I felt the weight that was on me that I was standing up against uh, all these years. All the traumas from childhood, traumas from war. It's all mixed up in this struggle. And maybe you think about a thing. It says that he came to set the captives free,
Mm-hmm.
and it was almost like a thing that everyone that was born into this world was born a captive, because he's
Mm-hmm.
going to be domesticated to the beliefs around him, to his family, and he'll be pushed in all these different directions. And he's going to be doing what I think his parents and the church and people around him expect of him, and to finally have the experience that's unexplainable, but it don't make me fit into what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
It don't make me fit in the way churches run, especially coming from a format where you, as a Muslim, you go anywhere in the world, anywhere, and find someone that believes like you,
Yes.
and praying at the same time you're praying. So there's
Mm-hmm.
that sense of unity, but the sense of the individuality is lost, because
Mm-hmm.
you're now parroting belief that's handed down to you by someone else that you haven't really explored and experienced. And words don't teach; only experience teach, to bring you to a point to recognize that you are in bondage, and that
Mm-hmm.
you need someone to help you get out of this spot.
Mm-hmm.
And it got to be bigger than the world, and the world is powerful.
Mm-hmm.
But
How how how
I
how
want
does
to.
how does it feel to one, be in that bondage, to know that you're in that bondage, and how does it feel when you relieve from that bondage? And I'm not going to ask you what that bondage is. That's up to you if you want to expound on that. But
Mhm.
how does it feel to be there, to know you're there, and to be released from that bondage? What's that process like?
Oh boy, I got to tell you, I walked around in Florida. I walked around. I moved to Alabama in '95, just before the Saviors that the Million Man March thing. I was scheduled to go. I was planning to go, and my mother was evangelist. Out of nowhere, she showed up at my house. Right,
Mm-hmm.
she showed up, and it sort of threw my whole plans about going. I was even sitting and talking to her, explaining to her why I had to go,
Mm-hmm.
and somewhere in the path that I heard all my life. And she said, Ed, you gotta die. I said,
Mm.
what? So you gotta die, and you gotta be born again,
Wow.
and you can't do it, but you gotta put yourself in a position for it to happen. I've heard this all my life, and somehow I finally got myself to a position where I can pray in a different way than I always normally. It wasn't a ritual prayer, but it was a heart prayer.
Mm-hmm.
And in the middle of that prayer, I felt this lift, a lift come off my life.
Mm.
It's
Mm.
sort of funny.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
Come on,
I
brother.
didn't know,
Come on,
and I was
brother.
hurt
Come on.
so bad.
Come on, brother. Come on, brother.
I
Talk to
didn't
us.
know the pain I was in,
Mm-hmm.
because I was a man,
Yes, sir.
and I'm not going to give. I'm not going to quit. I'm going to fight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to fight against these people that are doing this to me and my people. And I think when I took the load off of me to change the world,
Mm-hmm.
the Creator showed me all the things in my world, my life,
Mm.
that I need to change
Yes, sir.
before I even think about trying to impact the world.
Mm-hmm.
The hurts in my family, the, the words that are the angry, hateful words, believing that someone by their nature, another human being by their very nature, is evil
Mm.
and my enemy. When I recognized my enemy wasn't anybody, wasn't flesh, but my enemy was some other stuff that I had no idea about, but I finally saw that there is someone in opposition to
Mm-hmm.
goodness.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's fun. It's great. I'm talking about it, and I'm feeling the relief again,
Yes. Yes.
because it's never done. You're
Mm-hmm.
never complete. It's a process, and you got to carry it in, as they say.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. Cassandra, I know who you are, Cassandra. I know your connection with the Father. So, what did you hear? What did you just hear?
Man, I heard redemption story. That's that. I mean, the story that all of us come to at some point in our life,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to tell you, I'm like the brother. I was in so much pain.
Mm,
I mean, and I had made up in my mind, I don't want nothing to do because I was molested by a preacher many years of my life, and I didn't want nothing to do with religion. I said, God, you can keep your religion. I don't want nothing to
mm-hmm.
do with y'all. Boom, 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 boom. I made my declaration that I didn't want anything to do with Christianity. And I had been going through so much that I was in so much pain. I'd run across the country to California and really quick conversion. I got to California. I went there to be with a guy. His ship went out, had one of those deployments, emergency deployments
Yeah.
before I could get to California. And so when I got there, he was gone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I had to get on a bus and come back to
Wow.
South Carolina. On my way from California, stopped in Little Rock, Arkansas. The bus stopped in Little Rock, Arkansas. A guy came and sat next to me, and he said, "You have to stop running. God has a great commission for you." And he started telling me stuff about my life, and I wept like a baby on that bus. I was like, who is this man and why is he, telling me this stuff? He shouldn't know any of this stuff about me.
Mm-hmm.
And when the bus got ready to leave, the man got up and I'm sitting there boohoo crying and he walks down. I look over the side, out the window, and I never saw the man leave the bus.
Wow.
And that is how I came to. I was done after that. I was like, okay, this is no. So this is bigger than me.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave my life to Christ when I got back to South Carolina.
Wow.
So I definitely get what he says, and I tell you, it was the greatest. It's like every bit of anger, hurt, and pain left my body, my spirit, and my mind in that one encounter, that
Mm.
one brief encounter.
Wow. Wow. Cassandra, how much of a relief was it? Because, and I'm gonna ask this question next time. I'm gonna put the question out there before I even ask this. Just so y'all wave over just a little bit. Are we all hurting? Are we all hurting in some kind of way? But before we answer that question, Cassandra, how did that relief to you feel? How was that relief?
Man, it was. I think Brother Hicks used the term. I think he said euphoric. It felt like I was walking on a. It was like, wait a minute, man. I ain't feeling no
Yeah.
kind of anger, no kind. It was like the light came on.
Mm-hmm.
Like you
Mm-hmm.
in a dark spot and somebody just put a spotlight
Mm.
on
Yeah,
all of a
girl.
sudden. That's the way. I mean, that's the way it felt to me. I
Wow.
mean, literally, I felt like someone had turned a light on in a dark room
Mm.
that I was in.
Wow. Wow. Mr. Hicks, would you agree with that assessment of it, or is yours just a little bit different?
It was the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was just I'll tell you something, right? I started playing gospel music, right,
Mm-hmm.
around the house, and it was a subtle thing. Is I didn't tell anybody about this experience. I just felt everybody was looking at me strange, and my daughters, my wife, they all standing around. They got their veils on, and I'm the guard of the house. I'm controlling everything, and and it was just desiring to me to ask them what they want. I asked them, "What did you think about wearing these veils? What do you?" First time I asked them, and they didn't, and they expressed themselves honestly. I said,
Mm-hmm.
"Look, I'm not forcing anything on anybody. You do what you want to do. Here's the basic rules you got. That these are the basic kind of rules, but you got." I gave them liberty.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
felt liberated. I
Mm-hmm.
had felt that I had got a liberation. I had felt a love that I'd never experienced before.
Mm.
I'm
Come on.
too emotional,
Yeah. No, you're not. No, you're not.
but
No, you're not, brother. Go. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. You going. You going. You going the right direction. Keep going, brother. Keep going. Don't stop. Keep going. Talk to me.
And you know, I recognize the risk of that, the decisions. I had a daughter that was finishing high school that same year, and I let her go to a prom. The only one I let go to a prom. So she dressed up in all the prom stuff. She looked so pretty, but I was torn in giving this freedom because I didn't know what it meant. My daughter went out to the graduation and all that things, and she came back pregnant. And there was fear in the house because I had said over and over to them, "I will kill you," and they believed it. I think I meant it. I can see how these people get caught up in this thing and kill their children. And rough time for me. And right at the same time that this is going on, the euphoric feeling that I had left. It was gone. I was searching for it. I said, what was it? It was like another decision I had to make. And I've had to make them from that point to this point almost daily. The path. It's not an easy path. It's not an easy path to live in love and to live in giving liberty and to learn how to listen to folks and learn how to put yourself last, how to sacrifice yourself just like someone did for you.
Yes.
Rough period, but all things, I understand that thing. All things works out for the good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
She married the brother. He moved to Alabama from Jersey. They married, had 2 kids. It fell. The marriage fell, but like I said, it's with families and with friends to be there for them as all these vicissitudes of life, the sufferings that we are told from the beginning that if you're going to suffer like I suffered, you've got to carry your cross, and you've got to believe that relief is coming like it came to the Israelites.
Yeah.
Like it came all the way through these stories we got that you said at the end. But so I guess a lot of times I don't mean to talk so patently about this change, but I can't. It's like fire shut up in my bones.
Come on, there you go. That's good. That's good. Ain't nothing wrong with it, brother. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Let me go to Ibrahim. Ibrahim, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Have a great morning, Grand Rising, everybody.
Hey,
I feel for the brother.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I went through troubles and turmoils with my children. I have expectations, and but in the end, as he was saying, right, it's what they suffer. You know, sometimes we have to look past our sufferings. You know, that's what I heard him say in the end. I kind of caught parts of it. The turmoil that he went through with one of his children's daughter. Yeah. Hey, I got it. Yeah. I ain't gonna try to match stories, but I feel for them. I have empathy because I went through some similar things. But in the end, it's about them. You know, it's about their lives. What we tried to do to make sure they have a good life.
Absolutely.
Let go of that pride. But anyway, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I want to ask you this question, Ibrahim, and this is something that I think it's gonna be a simple answer, but you know, it can get real complicated. We're talking about pain. We're talking about pain now. Do we all hurt in some kind of way?
Mentally or physically?
Across the board, emotionally, spiritually, do we all hurt in some kind of way?
Mentally, yes. Lord, yes. Lord, yes. You know, I feel suffering, and you know, I feel suffering, but sometimes when I take pain and look at how other people suffer on similar things or the same thing I thought I was suffering on, they suffer greatly. You know, and I was the cause of some of their suffering. You know what I mean? But yeah, I suffer greatly. I mean, you know, being candid too. You know, I'm on antidepressants right now. If I don't take those, y'all don't catch glimpses of me when I ain't on my antidepressants. But you know, life is really take, mentally take a toll on me. But the grace of God,
Come on.
all but the grace of God, I could
Mhm.
be, I could be something totally maniacal.
Mm-hmm.
For the grace of God, you know what I
Mhm.
mean. And
Come on.
physical pain,
Yes, sir.
I've had 2 back surgeries. I've had a motorcycle accident. I've been gunshot, and I've been slammed. It's been a major truck accident, jackknife a truck, and I had major concussion. I was trying to send one of my sons, and mess around and not found myself unconscious with a hole inside of my head. Where somebody had jacked me up with a brick,
Mm-hmm.
and I had my head turned the wrong way. I've raised families and been deserted. You know what I mean? And so it's just like physical pain. Yeah, I think all my kids, I got a scar to say this what happened with this child. This what happened with that child. I got a physical scar.
Battle wounds,
And,
if you will. Battle wounds.
Battle wounds.
Yeah.
Battle wounds. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And family. So what can I say? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I got my scars. Got scars.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
mental scars. One thing with old age is forgetfulness. Some of those mental scars go away until you sleep at night. They come back like nightmares. But a lot of things you forget, and I try to concentrate on the good things that happen. The positive things. And people say, man, you just like idyllic. Life just can't be that good. You just miss things. But that's the way I cope. That's my coping. I try to forget the bad things people did to me and some of the bad things I did, and I try to remember the good things.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, but your sins come back to haunt you.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly.
Anyway, life, right?
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Life could be so complicated sometimes, yet so beautiful, man. It depends on the season and how the wind is blowing. It depends on the season sometimes and how the wind is blowing, man. That's crazy, and it sounds crazy, but it's true. It depends on how the wind is blowing. Let me go to Curtis. Curtis, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
What up?
What's going on with you, Curtis? What's going on with you, man? Are we all, Curtis, in some kind of way? Everybody. Are we all hurting in some kind of way?
Yeah, no doubt. Yes, we are. And a lot of us don't have therapeutic. A lot of us don't have therapeutic measures that'll help us get through that hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Like we haven't really made the investment in that therapeutic time. Some of us haven't made it because we don't have the time. We working. Life is still going on. But yeah. To answer your question, yes.
Okay. How do we make it past that pain?
Well, you live through it. You got to work through it. You got to be willing to put in the work. You got to be willing to accept some of the inconvenient truths about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to be willing to accept some of the inconvenient truths about the people that you're trying to help.
Mm-hmm.
Aid and assist. Because some of your pain is because, and this is just my opinion, some of your pain is because people just don't understand you. You might not move like everybody else moves. You might not do things like everybody else do things. But, for the most part, a lot of people, if you don't do it like they do it, you don't handle a situation like they handle a situation, there's something wrong with you. It might not be anything wrong with you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's just how you deal with a given situation and or circumstance. But the big way to deal with that pain is to accept the truth for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I say all the time, that I listen, I trust people for who they are.
Yeah.
So if I trust who they are, guess what? I ain't never disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
People, I don't know, man. Sometimes I think people have their own expectations and wishes for other folk that realistically don't benefit that of the person.
Mm-hmm.
It benefits them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So gotta be careful with those kind of people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Toussaint, coming to you, brother, and Cassandra, I'm coming to you right next. So, be on standby. Cassandra, coming to you next on this. But Toussaint, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Hey, good morning.
Y'all put your seatbelt on. Ain't no telling what we about to get. But Toussaint, we've established the fact about this part of the question that everybody in some kind of way is hiding, is hurting in some kind of way. How does one hide or mask the fact that they're hurting and try to put on that fakeness? How do they put on that fakeness and try to conceal it?
I don't think it's a fakeness.
Mm.
I think it's let me see if I can say this word again.
Uh-oh.
Self-perseverance.
Okay. Good job.
Did I do okay?
You did good, brother. You did good. We're gonna give you.
I got to look out for me.
We're gonna give you a B-.
I have to look out for me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll take that. I got to learn because I do right. Just correct me if I'm wrong. I got to look out for me. I can't let you mess me up more than I'm already hurting.
Mm-hmm.
Because people have a tendency to put salt on wounds.
Wow.
And when they see you down, they'll put their foot on you if you don't watch it.
Mm.
So
what's the love in that?
When I laugh, well, there's a lot of love in it. Misguided, but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But you hear me laugh and joke a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
That don't mean I'm not going through something.
Yeah.
That don't mean there's something's going on a daily basis in my life that will stop me from grinning and giggling and laughing and joking around.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes, it is. But I'm not going to let, and I'm not saying you.
Yeah.
A person, anybody,
mm-hmm.
add to what I'm already going through. It's not a pretend. It's not faking it out. It's not a faking until you make it. It's just making it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because see, there is I don't know about nobody else, but I've been rejected
mm-hmm.
by those that hug me.
Wow.
And love me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Underestimated.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I do? Grin my way through it.
Yeah.
You gonna see.
Mm-hmm.
Keep on. Yeah, you keep on. I'm gonna keep trying. Even if I fail, I'm gonna get back up.
Toussaint, what is it like? And I'm asking a question. I've seen it myself, I experienced it myself, but I'm asking this question because I'm the question asker. But what is it like,
of course,
to have the very people that's supposed to be in your corner, that's supposed to have your back, turn their back and give up on you? What does that feel like? Maybe you never experienced it, but I'm just saying, if you could visualize it.
Oh, yes, I have. Let me see if I can. It's like driving Curtis. It's like driving a 5-speed in neutral.
Wow. You ain't going nowhere.
That's the best I can explain.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got the gears to get you where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
But the transmission's slipping.
Wow. 508. Yeah, that's good. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. 508-924-3521. Love to have your input. Again, 508-924-3521. Cassandra, what's on your heart?
Yeah, I mean, everyone has expressed themselves, pretty much with the same sentiment that I have. Man, I have known pain that made me I'm talking about emotional and spiritual pain that made me want to take my own life. I'm talking, and I was saved.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, saved, Holy Ghost, still speaking in tongues, saved. And I wanted to take my own life because of just emotional pain. People just, I mean, people can be cruel. I mean, people can be downright cruel, and especially people that say that I love you in Jesus' name. Them some of the cruelest people. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I mean, I'm just being honest.
Tell the truth.
Church hurt and that pain from church hurt, man, that thing will just about take you out of here.
Mm.
If you don't keep your eyes on Jesus, it'll just about take you out of here. But I've learned to, I had to learn to get past it and, and keep my eyes on God. And that's the thing. If we keep our eyes focused on God, a lot of the things, it's not that the pain won't hurt, but it won't be as bad because we're keeping our eyes on Him. And we know the love that He has for us, despite what anyone else says or does to us. That's important. That's essential.
Wow. And see, wow, y'all, man, I'm loving where y'all going with this thing. Let me go to Mr. Hicks. Mr. Hicks, let me ask you this question, sir. Any given church on any Sunday in any city or state, country, or wherever it is, when the doors open and people start to come in, do the pastor or anybody in that church realize the amount of hurt that's walking into those doors? Do they take the time to recognize or understand the amount of hurt that walk through those doors coming into the church and sit in that congregation? Do they understand that, Mr. Hicks?
I think when I got delivered, I started touring all the churches in the area. I went down to Creflo Dollar. I went down to the guy and the bishop that they raised on his shoulders, and I went to my
Eddie Long
local church. Eddie Long, yeah. And I
yeah.
went to my local church, and I think when I got delivered, the people in my family, my mother and my aunts and everybody, this is a prophecy that was spoken over me when I was a child. That I was supposed to do this and be that and all that, and I always fought against it. I saw as a child, most adults don't think children see, don't think they hear, but they're watching because they're mimicking. They're trying to learn how to function in the world, and they expose themselves around children. So I saw the hypocrisy at an early age. But I think in my life, the initial wound I had was being molested as a child. By a relative, a female relative, older adult, and I didn't remember it, didn't know it. But it put a cricket map inside of me. When I had this experience, I call it, I don't know. The words, the old world language just don't fit with me. But I heard this a song by Helen Baylor, and she had a praying grandmother. And I can't listen to that song. I can't listen to that song now without going to shivers.
Yes, sir.
Because my mother never gave up on me. I thought she hated me. I thought she hated me because I didn't take the path she wanted. She was always verbal there. So when I got delivered, I went to these churches. I was trying to fit in. I was in this one service, and this preacher was preaching, and he was preaching about someone in the audience. And I've watched that done so many times in my life, how the preacher would get up and he would preach on a specific incident or a person, but never call him his name. And I thought that was so unfair that you're in a rostrum and you talking to a person that can't defend themselves or explain themselves. But right in the middle of that, I was angry because I saw this in the Islamic community too. Same kind of a force to make you fit a box, and if you don't fit that box, you reject it. But right in the middle of that, it just came to me clear that most ministers you can see it in their lives now. Most ministers, they're ministering out of the hurt that they have. They haven't resolved their own pain.
Wow.
So you can't minister other than what you are. So it's not about the outside things. It's not about the cars and one of those kind of things. I never had a really desire for that. And I think that started about my real marriage. And we considered, and believe it or not, after all these years been apart, we considered, because we've always been friendly. But I guess seeing the principles, built based on principles, that God is not mocked, as you sow, so shall you reap. I got to the point where I really let a person work out their own salvation or their destruction. I know that all I can tell them that what you're throwing out there got to come back. It's a principle of the universe. You can't avoid it.
Exactly. Exactly. Ibrahim. Ibrahim, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. The amount of people walking through the church, and we're not gonna just say church, the spiritual doors out there, the church, the mosque, the synagogue, whatever it is. Do the leader, do the head of those organizations realize the amount of hurt that is walking through the door?
I don't think they do. I don't think they do.
Mm-hmm.
That's what one of the things turned me against the Christian religion was the hypocrisy, you know, and people in my family, and the people in the church that I got to know, you know, or just listening to the adults speak. I was raised, you know, my early experience with Christianity was what used to call the Holy Ghost sanctified,
Mm-hmm.
spiritual, you know, and just knowing them people in real life and seeing how they were, how cruel they were, you know, just like, and I hear that every time I hear that, I gain that same opinion about people, you know, about how they point to their religion or their branch of religion. And the Christian religion. So, you know, just seeing people talk today about, like, you know, the Catholics and know nothing, or the Baptists or the Prophets or the Methodists, you know nothing about each other, or willfully ignorant to each other, and then be so cruel amongst their own members, Calvinists, you know. And
Well,
then
see,
you tell people about these things, they don't even understand because they don't see it. They see their spirituality.
okay, now can
But they
that
care
be
little about it.
can that be across the board, not just in Christianity, but in all different spiritual religion or
Oh
religious?
my God.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
Because
Yes,
I don't want
yes,
people to
yes.
think that we're saying that Christianity is the only one that does this. You know, can this be this pretty much it could be across the board, all religion basically. Okay, okay.
You know, I guess a few of y'all been in the American Muslim Mission or the Nation,
Mm-hmm.
and you might say good things about it, but there's a reason why you ain't in that no more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And the reason could be yourself, or it could be what you experience that you had with other people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I experienced that.
Okay.
I seen the pop. I used to Imam.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then I went talking to fire and brimstone. Everybody wanted to hear me talking. I started talking about love and forgiveness and compassion, and they voted me out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think I voted in. You know,
Wow.
because they put to that fire and brimstone. You know what I mean? But that wasn't as long. But hey, that was the people and what they wanted, that community.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and but I kind of strayed away, but I came back because I remember what brought me to it in the first place. You know, it wasn't that particular community, those people that championed my exit. It was the whole spiritual thing that the community, you know. So, but you know, and I tried it when I put on that cape, you know, and I say Islam is Allah Akbar. You know, then I try to represent that in real life.
There
you
you
know
go.
what I mean?
There you go.
But if I don't have that cape on, you know, and you know, I'm just a regular American, black American person.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I admit to my gentrification of my, you know, being assimilated into this society, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And but at the same time, I reject it, I rebuke it.
Yeah, there you
go. You know what I mean? And you know, I try to stand up for what's right. You know, when it comes to me, when it comes my turn to serve, you know, I try to rebuke and do what's right by people, regardless of what religion they in, because I experienced those religions, and everybody don't have the same thing that led me away from, or had information or knowledge that would help me get away from that toxic environment that I experienced at the time.
Good deal.
You know
Good deal. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me go to Tucson. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother? The amount of people that walk through the doors of the church, synagogue, mosque, whatever the spiritual, whatever it is, they walk through there with Okay, we got a little 815. We got a little 815 person. They ain't got nothing to do today. Bless your heart, brother. And let me tell you something. 815. If you want to be a part of the conversation, that's not the way to do it. It's real easy. Just call in and say hello. Just call in and say hello, and we'll talk to you. You want some attention? We'll give it to you. But you're not doing it in the right way right now. I think you're a little more mature than that. So 815, if you want to be a part of the conversation, you're more than welcome, just like everybody else. Just call in, be respectful, and as we respect you, and say hello. I will address you and I give you opportunity to say whatever's on your heart. All right. But that's not the way to do it. Okay. Go ahead, Tucson.
Yeah, well, it's people in general.
Mm-hmm.
Here we are trying to have a conversation and just like churches and mosques, and it's there. It's nothing wrong with the I guess the spiritual avenue. I can only say it like this because I don't want to say religion,
Mm-hmm.
but it may be that.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with it. It's the people that go in that don't do enough to find out what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
And they're there for themselves and not others. We selfish.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I'm going, here's the mindset. And less, and I can only talk from where I am. There are some that come in and they say, I'm going to get my praise on.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. But like you say, there are people that are hurting.
Yes.
Walk in hurting, tore up from the floor up.
Mm-hmm.
The preacher, matter of fact, he didn't just had a fallout on the way to church
Yes.
about the shoes he got on his feet.
Mm-hmm.
Socks don't match.
Mm-hmm.
And they arguing because he didn't get breakfast this morning.
Mm.
We got to stand before the people and encourage them. And his 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 parent or his relative just died,
Mm-hmm.
and they looking for encouraging word. There's two sides to every story.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
We looking at the pastors, but they got deacons and trustees and ushers and everybody in between
Mm-hmm.
that just as selfish as we say the preacher is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to defend them,
Yeah.
but
Absolutely.
we want the preacher to have it all together,
Mm-hmm.
which he don't.
Mm-hmm.
You ever saw a a, a pastor, a preacher, or a leader of a mosque, and you know his family member died, and he's standing up there, and you looking for an encouraging word from a
Mm.
man that's or a woman that's suffering,
Wow.
and you
Wow.
expect that out of him.
Mm-hmm.
You ever saw somebody had to eulogize their own parent
Wow.
or child,
Mm.
and you sitting up there crying like they crying, but he don't have a tear fall from his eye. He has a word that'll calm the building.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
So I listen and I hear how we say, well, we've been done something by and you know there are some people that go to churches that the pastor is a bully. I
Mm-hmm.
call it pulpit bullying.
Mm-hmm.
Pulpit bullying.
Mm-hmm.
He actually takes out time because he's heard a conversation or they went through somebody and his message is about that morning.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bully.
Yes, sir.
But that ain't got nothing to do with Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
We identify Christianity by people or Muslims by people. Ain't got nothing to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
People are the way they are because that's the way they are.
Yeah.
They don't have to know God at all.
Mm-hmm.
We don't talk about the people in the club
Mm-hmm.
dogging folks out
Exactly.
because we expect that out of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying.
That's true. Absolutely true. Curtis, what's on your heart? We got Rico with us. Gonna go to Rico next. But Curtis, what's on your heart, brother?
I'm just listening to the brothers. The brothers just on point.
Mm-hmm.
That was just, you know what I mean? He just sent one in the hustling.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, we have this, we can tend to have this larger than life calling on the pastor. You know, like my uncle taught me, man, probably one of the greatest lessons I ever learned from the spiritual and church perspective.
Mm-hmm.
You know, uncle taught me that, you know, the church ain't nothing but a spiritual hospital. It's a hospital people come to get some form of healing to their spirits and their souls. If you take it beyond that and make it anything greater than that, then you have just set yourself up for failure.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe them, man. I really do. I believe them. But some of us don't want to see it that way.
Mm-hmm.
They want to see it something, I don't know, something greater, something. It is what it is. It's an emergency room,
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So when you have people that don't want to believe it to be true, then those very same people are the people who are extremely judgmental, don't want to hear, extremely segregated, extremely discriminatory. You're just gonna get that. That's just what it is, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. That's good. Rico, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Man, I can't complain, man. I'm just happy to see another beautiful day, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Likewise. Rico, I'm gonna go back a little bit and ask you the question, man. Are we all, everybody, all of us, are we all hurting in some? Everybody, mute your line. We got some background noise coming from somebody's line. Mute your line for me. Are we all hurting in some kind of way?
I'm gonna say the majority of average human beings, or in general, most human
Mm-hmm.
beings are. Some people are completely content and happy where they are in life
Mm-hmm.
with
Does that mean?
everything that has happened.
Does that mean they're not hurting in some kind of way, or they, or like you said, they're just content with it and they live with or through the pain?
Well, they live with it and through it, so they're not hurting anymore.
Mm.
There's no pain. They count their joys more than their losses.
Mm-hmm. That's
They
good.
count more joy than pain.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, hell, I'm pretty sure if Leonard was on here, he'd probably say that.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are people that are, man, they are happy, man. They've had a happy childhood. Listen to Annette when she called in and talked sometime, man. You can tell that she probably has more joy than pain.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, yeah, I think a lot of human beings have um or are all still in pain. Well, not
Mm-hmm.
all, but they are in pain. But for to say all, no, I can't say all because I know I see some very happy people.
Mm-hmm.
The only pain they have is physical pain, but mental pain, they know how to get away from that immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Negativity, they know how to get away from that immediately. And,
Mm-hmm.
and and the thing is some of that negativity is the loss of a parent, but they
Yes.
have a different outlook on life. They say, well, you know what, man, you never know the curveballs that life throws at you. You know what I mean? Like some people take these cliches that we hear and they really take them to heart and get what they mean because of
Mm-hmm.
the wisdom in them, and they live by them. That's what makes some successful people successful, is the fact that they don't let the bad things hold them back.
Mm-hmm.
Then they never quit. They never let anything make them stop, regardless of what they went through, how hard it was, how negative it was. For them to still get to where they want to get, as long as they had breath in their lungs, they made sure they were going to do what they needed to do. So it was about the effort that they made.
Mm-hmm.
Some people had to go to church. Some
Yeah.
people had to
Yeah.
get religion. Some people they had to get direction. They had to find out.
That's
Religion
good.
is therapy for a lot of people.
It is. Absolutely.
So with that
Absolutely.
therapy, they got some clarity and they
Mm-hmm.
got some direction and some guidance. They sort of got found a foundation, some structure, and found out how to move step by step to get to where they want to get. Because in their heart, they still had that motivation to make the effort to have a good life. And so once they take those steps, um, it's positive just waking up every day to be able to go and take those steps to go to see what the next day brings. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say all people are in pain, but there are a lot of people in pain and they dwell in it.
Would it be safe if I say that, because I don't want to put words into your mouth, would it be safe if I say that most majority of people are in pain? They just have learned, like we said earlier, how to maneuver through that pain and not let them affect them in a negative way.
Yeah, I mean they look at it in a different way. They I don't want to say they're desensitized, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like when you lose a family member and they say, well, you know what, I ain't gonna cry, I'm gonna celebrate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're going on to somewhere better. I can't wait to get there. Ooh, I
Mm-hmm.
can't wait to see you again. And they'll celebrate and they'll go to clapping at the funeral.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I've seen this from the child. I mean, you know, I heard Donald say that, man, and you know what I'm saying. I've seen it done sincerely, and then I've seen the child just be who they are and try to do it sincerely, and still really just be putting on a show. At the same time, you know, that's I guess that's, you know, the individual in people, you know what I'm saying, the motivation behind people. But at the same time, when they get up in those situations and they stop those tears and they say, you know what, this is a part of life.
Wow.
Yeah, it hurts. They're gonna miss whoever they missing. But guess what? A couple of days from now, a couple of months from now, most people that was mourning you, they're gonna forget about you. And life is gonna go on. So if life goes on, man, that's probably one of the biggest cliches that a person could receive and remember from now on, that life goes on. Way before you came here, it was life, and way after you gone, it's gonna be life. And guess what? It's gonna be a point in time where ain't nobody gonna even know you existed unless you did something to be remembered.
John Cougar Mellencamp, y'all might know who that is, man. He had a song back in the day. I used to love the song, man. And it says, "Life goes on long after the thrill of living is gone. Life goes on." And what he's saying in that song is, regardless of what you do, people that go to work and they think that their jobs revolve around them and it ain't gonna be able to do this without them, man. They fall over, man. If they fall over dead in the next hour, maybe the next day, they gonna have somebody else sitting in that same desk. May not do the job like you did it because you've probably been doing it for a long time, but they're gonna grow into doing the job.
Hey,
That very
Raheem,
job. Yes.
that Honda plant they opened up down here, man, they were so machine like when they first opened up. When people was dropping dead on that line, they was putting somebody right back in that spot. They couldn't stop them cars from moving.
Exactly.
People sitting there in shock, traumatized, still screwing in radios and doing dose seals. Oh Lord, somebody died down there. They say he had a heart attack.
Exactly.
Keep up with that line.
And keep up with that line. Exactly. Because they don't want to affect their bottom line, what their check gonna be. And so I see it all the time, and life goes on. And John Cougar Mellencamp said it. Actually, I'm repeating his line. Life goes on long after the thrill of living is gone. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother? Tucson, you there?
Yeah. You know, I just say people. You know, one thing I remember when my who was it? Either my brother or my dad passed, and because you know maybe some say it may be a little bit misguided, but we have a tendency to feel like we know their relationship. So we was like, me and my older brother, we threw each other at least one high five right there at the funeral.
Wow.
Ain't that something? Yeah, we did. I remember. And I remember my, it was at my brother's funeral, and my sister broke out in a cry. And my older brother, we had already talked about it. We don't cut up at funerals. And she broke out in a cry, and my brother said, "Sit down." And she stopped that crying right there on the spot. Sat down. That was the end of that. And I don't know, you reach a point where I don't know. We've been taught this thing since we were small. Okay, we didn't just come into it.
Yeah.
And well, some may say it's misguided or whatever it is, but this is how people think and all that kind of stuff. But at some point, you just have to see life for what it is. Life ends with death. The reality. That's a reality. And we try to develop a relationship, not just looking at a bunch of red and white, black words in a book that nobody believes in. It's more than that. Matter of fact, I don't even need the book. I'm just saying there's something on the inside that just convinces me that there's more than me in life. So you accept it. And I'm satisfied with it because it puts me in a place that I have a feeling that no matter what goes on, it's gonna be all right.
Exactly.
And some say that's a bunch of foolishness. Well, I decide in my life to just live foolishly.
Mm-hmm.
It's better than feeling so bad about a situation that happened in your life that you jump off a bridge
Mm-hmm.
or kill a bunch of folks
Yeah.
because it's not going well for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You got to just make a choice in your life. I'm just saying. So
Yeah,
that's what's on my mind.
absolutely, absolutely right. Badger, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Hope
Badger,
everyone's having a beautiful day.
oh, absolutely, absolutely, man. We're talking about pain right now, and we're gonna transition over to another topic in just a minute or two. But right now, we're talking about pain, and is everybody across the board, black, white, orange, polka dot, Christian, saved, unsaved, whatever, does everybody have a certain amount of pain within their lives that they're living with and that they have to deal with, possibly even on a daily basis? Is everybody hurting in some kind of way, Badger?
I think to a degree, yeah. I think and there's a lot of instances where they probably don't even realize it.
Mm-hmm.
Because some people, I think, learn this maladaptive skill called being numb, where they can be hurt and not even realize it. And it's
Mm-hmm.
pretty sad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
Wow.
I I did that. Um, I got to a point where, and I know some other people that have as well, of where I could walk on broken glass and cut my foot wide open and wouldn't even know it
Mm-hmm.
until someone says, "Why is there blood all over the place?" It's kind of a sad existence,
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow.
to be honest. To not feel things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then there's also the flip side. There's people that are so sensitive that they get bullied and picked on because they're sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I guess it's gonna really boil down to the individual and how they experience the world. And that's another thing to me where it's going to boil down to how respectful are we to other people and the acknowledgement of their experience
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and the
Wow.
moments that they're given.
That's good. That's good. I gotta go to Miss Navy. Miss Navy, good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good. And yes, I got it right. Go ahead and celebrate. I got it right. But listen,
Yeah, you on a roll.
hey, there you go. There you go. But Navy, let me ask you this question, and you, I definitely want to ask you. I wanted to ask you and certainly Curtis as well, because y'all are counselors and y'all counsel people on a daily basis. So I need to ask
Okay.
you this question. Everybody that we come in contact, ourselves included, you and I and everybody else included, black, white, orange, saved, unsaved, whatever, whatever, is everybody hurting in some kind of way, but they just learn how to deal with it and live their lives through it or not. But the question is everybody hurting in some kind of way? What do you say to that?
Um, I definitely say that to some degree, yes, most everyone is hurting, but I think that, of course, that's going to depend.
Mm-hmm.
Is your hurt coming from physical, mental, emotional, financial, or spiritual, or a combination of all of them?
Mm-hmm.
I would like to think that majority of us are hurting and healing,
Mm.
while the other percentage may be hurting and ruminating,
Wow.
meaning that they're reliving the same hurt over and over again because they can't get past it. Um, I like to think that majority of the people that come into my office or that I see outside of my office um, are ready to face that hurt, while some people are comfortable in the hurt
Mm-hmm.
and not ready to get past because that hurt, that trauma, whatever it may be, has become so much of who they are, their security blanket, and their personality, to where it's hard to dissect or like break away from that. Because if I'm not my trauma and if I'm not my troubles, then who am I?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a whole other like level that you have to be ready to go into. And some people are just comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, there, because I know what to expect. I don't guess what pain is going to come next. already know what's going to come next. And even if it doesn't come next, because I'm so used to like that hurt, I'm going to fulfill it myself. It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Like
so I think some of us are hurting and healing, and some of us are hurting and ruminating and trying to figure it out, or either just content.
Let me ask you this question. Maybe you said a lot of time they're trying to heal it themselves, or trying to get over the pain themselves. Is that a good idea, or should they go and seek counsel from somebody that's educated and qualified to help them through certain situations?
Me personally, I was a counselor long before I got the education behind it. I just didn't know. Even if you don't seek someone, even if you don't come into an office, people have well intentions when they give us advice, and most of the times it's just like, just get over it, or you'll be okay. It can always be worse, which, yes, it could always be worse, but I'm hurting right now, and I don't know what to do, and I'm coming to you, and then we start to feel guilty. We start to have shame because of that. Whether that's a mentor, whether that is a counselor, a therapist, someone that you wholeheartedly trust that gives sound advice, that's truly going to see you and hear you. Unless they fit that description, I mean, like sometimes our homegirls and our homeboys are not the best people to be therapists for us.
Absolutely.
Our families are not the best people to be therapists for us. Yes, we may trust them, but I know for me, I held back a lot because I knew that my family, some people in my family couldn't handle my truth. And then you're going to feel guilty for what I'm telling you. So yes, I would say go to a trained professional, whether that, like I said, whether that is a mentor, a pastor to some degree, or a therapist, because there's an unbiased insight that we're able to give you and help you navigate through that journey just a tad bit better than maybe someone else on the outside.
Good deal. Good deal. Let me go to my other sister. My other sister's here. Toya with a T. Good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Good morning. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good, sis. Doing good. Gotta ask you the question. Everybody, and everybody inclusive. Are we all hurting to some degree? Are we all carrying some kind of pain with us? That sometimes we deal with and sometimes we don't, Toya. But are we all dealing with some kind of pain?
You said all.
Yes.
So I don't want to say all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think all people are. There may be a majority of people,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think that all people are hurt. I don't think that all people have gone through things that were, you know, extreme enough to leave hurt. You know, some people go through things and it doesn't even phase them. But I'm not gonna say all. That's a pretty strong word. I will say a majority.
Okay. That's fair.
I think that for the most part, you know, money changes things. So with that being said, I would like to say there may be 1 or 2% that, you know, nothing phased them. Some rich kids, or, you know what I'm saying, just some sheltered people where, you know, I guess you can say they live close to a normal life as possible and don't know what real hurt and pain is, except for maybe they couldn't get to go out or something like that. But I'm not going to say, oh, that's broad. I do think, though, that, you know, most of us broke folks come from the broke households. We got a lot of different hurts and pains because, you know, now you're opening up a door with struggle, which triggers stress, which trigger a lot of other different things. So I think, you know, in households that may not be as financially secure may have a few more problems than other homes. And I think those are the people that you may find the most hurt with. You know, I think it's very rare to find people in good situations going through all kind of stresses and struggles and things of that nature, but definitely in the communities that are, you know, impoverished, don't have enough food, don't have enough money, you know, don't have enough finances. Some of these areas are dealing with contaminated waters and things of that nature that causes other problems. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely can't say all.
I think a lot of us in the Black community are. I think
Mm-hmm.
we are hurting from the spirit of racism as well as some of the actions. Just to know that your great grandmother was dragged out of the house, beat, burned on the stake.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it didn't happen to you, don't mean you don't have pain. I think just the history, just the carry around the skeletons that we've had to carry around as Black people, that's a psychological pain.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just like, you know what I'm saying? Why? Like, why I gotta go through all of this? Why did that have to happen? And then when we still go through things, it just like unleashes that all of that old racism, and it's just mind boggling. And I think it causes mental problems. Again, it goes into causing pressure and stress because you can't get that job because you're Black, or being a woman, you know, certain positions they feel like it's a man job. So now here they go, you giving you problems, and now here you go taking your problems home.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So I just think that they're situational, and I'm not gonna say all, but for us in our community, we got this heavy skeleton on who we are and what we had to overcome that
Mm-hmm.
haunts us, and I think that that's the pain we suffer from.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Ibrahim, what's on your heart, brother? Are we all hurting in some kind of way? Ibrahim, are you there? Okay, Ibrahim must have stepped away for a second. Mr. Hicks, talk to me, sir.
Oh, yes, sir. I going over. I appreciate everything I'm hearing. Trying
Mm-hmm.
to be honest in terms of breaking it down to our individual experience as a ethnic group. But I look at it like this. I was thinking about. I watched my children being born. I didn't think it was that hard. Uh, I mean, watching the whole process, and I was thinking that the pain that's exerted on the fetus skull when it comes that a baby is born is a pain that we couldn't even imagine if we could as adults we could even live through it. When that baby comes out, it's
Mm-hmm.
screaming in pain.
Mm-hmm.
It don't have any conscious awareness of it, especially when those people that get circumcised in the hospital. That's a trauma. I've seen my sons go through a frenzy,
Mm-hmm.
like from the pain involved. And I think when you grow up in this world and you begin to come in your conscious, you start recognizing life and death. Animals died and stuff like that. Questions start forming in your mind, and family members die, and you're still sort of in a fog. I remember when my grandmother died on my father's side. It was way back in the early 50s, I guess, and they had the wakes inside the house, and and I was under the house, and you could see through the cracks in those country floors. You can look in the room and see the adults upstairs. I could see my grandma, her nose from my ankle, laying in the casket, and all of my there was 12 brothers. There's a large Hicks family down there, and they were all drinking.
Mm-hmm.
They were drinking and they were partying, and I was looking up on that thing, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks. And it hit me, and I said, "Mama's gonna die."
Mm.
And I said, "Wow, Daddy's gonna die." You know, everybody's gonna die. And then at the last second, it hit me, I'm gonna die.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
And and that's where the questions begin to formulate in my young mind. And then you get all of these people around you telling you that if you don't do this, don't do that, you're gonna go to hell. And if you run across that thing, boy, you're gonna get killed. You gotta watch out for snakes. So there was always an underlining thing to everyone who came in this world that they knew that they were vulnerable. They
Mm-hmm.
knew they could be wounded, they could be hurt, and they could die. And I think that's a certain bondage to people resolve that what they call existential this question, like who am I, where did I come from, where am I going, and why is all this happening?
Mm-hmm.
And I think until that's resolved, like with me, until that for your answers, and they're not answers that you can stand on a rostrum and preach to anybody else and say this is what it is. It's like a personal
Mm-hmm.
understanding from your experience that you you sort of recognize that until you recognize what this soul pilgrimage is about, and it evolves and it changes, but it gives you it takes away some of the pain
Mm-hmm.
of death.
Yeah, that's
I
good.
think that's the thing that hangs us from the very beginning. We're gonna die.
Mhm.
Everybody around us is gonna die.
Absolutely, absolutely. Anybody have anything they want to say to this topic before we move on to the next one? Come, we're going to move on to something different before we get to our main topic of the day. Anybody have anything on their heart?
This topic was mainly about pain.
Yes.
Well, you know, I want to bring this up, man, because you know I don't think really society understands the trauma, the obstacles, and the pain of a black man.
Come on, Rico. Come
I
on.
don't even think our sisters
Go
do.
ahead, bro.
And I don't want to say we're underappreciated, but sometimes it's hard for you to put yourself in the shoes of somebody else mentally. Remember, we talking about this mental pain. And so when you start talking about some of the things that a man goes through or what they went through in the past, you know, I posted a picture the other day of a woman with a baby in her stomach.
I saw that.
And the baby in the man's head.
Yep.
That's what I'm going through. I've gone through that with all my children, man. I mean, you hear some men say that they go through the morning sickness and they gain weight with them, and they actually go through that experience because they really tied in. They linked in, they connected. But when that is taken from us, you know, some of the people that I know were called deadbeat dads. Some of them wasn't deadbeat dads, but they had to make a choice to just go ahead and let the fact that family ideal of a family was gone, and they had to try to find some way to go ahead and continue their lives and find some type of balance between co-parenting with a mother that may or may not be cooperative, and then a woman that really may not or may be fit to be a stepmother that deserves time and attention and all those things. So some of the times, you know, I think those labels are put on men that really just had to go ahead and they had to make a choice to live for themselves because they had to let go of what they wanted with that child and that mother. The child may feel like, you know what, that my dad neglected me. No, your dad had to go ahead and do what he had to do because he really wanted his family. So now he can't have you all the time. But I was looking at this study, man. It was it sort of hurt me when I saw this. They put 4 children at a table: a white girl, a white boy, a little black girl, and a little black boy. Small children, preschool, maybe 5 years old, 4. And they had a lot of different teachers come in of different ethnicities. It wasn't just white teachers; it was black teachers. And guess they tricked the teachers and told them they just wanted to monitor the children to see, you know what I'm saying, how the children acted amongst each other. But really and truly, they were monitoring the teachers to see who they unconsciously and subconsciously looked at in a suspicious way. And for some reason, the eye move or whatever that they were monitoring showed each one of these teachers, not just the white one, but also the black ones, sitting there grinning and smiling like, oh, look at those adorable kids, look at those adorable kids. But they were looking at that little black boy too much. And the camera would show that they was looking at his hands to see what his hands was doing. And every time he made a movement, they would focus on him to make sure, you know what I'm saying, and you could tell that they was worried that he was getting out of order. The other kids were doing the same thing, and they wouldn't look around at them like that. They would just, you know, glance over them. But that black child had eyes on him most of the time, which indicated they had subconsciously been programmed to watch that little black boy. He might be trouble.
Wow.
And so that's what we go through the rest of our lives. Did you graduate high school? I graduated college. Why would you think less? Have you ever been arrested before? No. You know, it's like being guilty before proven innocent.
Yeah.
When you're a black male, you have to earn and fight so much to get jobs. I mean, you know, we have women that say that our men let us down and they didn't fight for us through slavery and they didn't stand up and they left us. We still got to remember that some of these black men were trying to get jobs from white men that didn't want them to be successful. So why would they hire them if they didn't have to? A lot of black men did try. So you ask, what does it feel like to be in pain and to keep trying and to be in pain and keep trying? Man, it's torment. It's traumatizing. You can easily be broken when you know that nobody sees your torment. Nobody knows how it feels when you go to these job interviews, knowing that you're qualified. You get them, and you got to train somebody, and then they become your supervisor. Or they put blocks in place so you can't climb the ladder.
Okay, let me ask you this question, Rico, and I love where you went with that, and then we're gonna pull some more people until we're gonna stay here just a little bit longer. How does it affect you, or what does it do to you, if anything at all, when even another black man don't understand that?
Man, that's when you just realize then that they distracted.
Mm.
They're distracted. It really boils down to, because there are a lot of people that don't, black people, black men, that look, man, that ain't no excuse. I said, it ain't no excuse that a black man ain't got no job. There's plenty of jobs out here. Yeah, the same black man that they put a knee on his neck and they killed in the middle of the road and tried to say that it was okay and didn't want to arrest him. The same black man that George Zimmerman killed, the black young man. I mean, just think about this. We stand that, yeah, we do have better options. We do have better choices we can make. But there are a lot of us making good choices. And at the same time, the system is still doing what it's supposed to do against us. And our own people forget that because they are doing what they call great.
Good deal. Good deal. Let me go to Curtis. Curtis, what's on your heart? What do you feel about this here, brother? Talk to me.
Sure. Rico just, man, yeah, he right. He is absolutely right. Unequivocally, you can't even question that. It's not even, when you talk about the issue that Rico just mentioned, the first thing you're going to hear is, well, what about all the black on black hate and the black on black crime? That's the first thing you're going to hear.
Yeah.
And it's starting to be used as a tactic to justify the inappropriate treatment of the African American male in this country. And it's sad, bro, because it's being overlooked. Justice for one is justice for all. You understand? It's being overlooked that here it is, this brother committing this crime. Man, this is so big, bro. We can't even talk about this because just like you know what? I go back to it. I remember back here about 2-3 years ago, maybe 4 at best. Young little 16-year-old, 15-year-old white boy, Caucasian brother. He gets drunk, steals his mom and daddy's car. He kill a whole family. Go to court, and the judge and the jury let him off because they said he was too rich.
Yeah.
And too young to understand that he had broke the law. The brother in Missouri that ran over them people, they throwing the book at him. So you see all these things going on. To my detriment, I'm standing here on this show. September 2nd will be my final day in the human services field. I'm tapped out, bro.
Wow.
I am tapped out. If I can consult, I will. But direct care line of work, I don't have that in me no more, man. And it hurts, man. It hurts me to my core. It hurts that I gotta walk away, that I even gotta admit that, because I feel like people are gonna be people are not gonna receive the care that they're not gonna receive the care and concern that they should get. But all at the same time, man, I have to accept the inconvenient truth. This is not my lane anymore, brother. Because I'm seeing where people and entities and agencies are making more money off of our failure than our success. And I don't want to be a part of that game anymore.
Wow.
I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to try and exist in it. I don't want to keep failing because resources is not there. Not because we can't do the work, but because the resources is not there.
Mm-hmm.
Or the resources are there, but there's no real initiative to put those resources out there.
Hey,
I don't
Curtis,
want to play a part in that, brother.
why don't you after September? I'm just throwing something out there now. I'm going to go to Tucson. I got to go to. I'm gonna make my way around everybody. But why don't you think about this right here and just think about it? You know, maybe it's not for you or whatever. But I'm just throwing something at you. Why don't after September the 2nd you start, or even before you start your organization, like an advocate organization to speak out against the ills that's going on and let people know. Start your organization, get your 501c3, and go out there and fight against the ills that's going on in that community that's not allowing you to be successful because you've been there. You know what it's up against. You know what the fight is. And so, you know, I think you'll be a very good person to actually go out there and be an advocate for the people that you tried to help in the past in a different capacity. Now you could be the voice that they need to make that difference. Like I said, people are donate to you. I'll donate to you. I donate to you. You know what I
Well,
mean?
I do, brother. I already did.
Mm-hmm.
And that is my mindset. That if I'm going to do, notice I said I'll do some consultant work.
Yeah, yeah.
If I'm going to stay in this lane, I'm just going to use my 501c3 and do some things on my own.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I am so, as a black man, I'm just going to say it. My biggest pain right now is the feeling of unappreciation. When Rico said what he said,
Mm-hmm.
that brother just really truly struck a chord, not only in my heart but in my spirit, man. I'm fighting back these tears because I truly
Care.
with all due respect to my Caucasian American brothers and my Caucasian American sisters, and people as a whole, I personally truly feel unappreciated, misunderstood, prejudged because I'm a black man, because I'm 6'1", because I'm 200 and something pounds.
Mm-hmm.
There's this idea that I'm a certain type of way, and I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
There's this idea that I'm automatically a person of a confrontational spirit. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
An argumentative spirit. I'm not. A physically aggressive spirit. I'm not. That's so far from who I am and who I was raised to be, that because I get that all the time, guess what I feel like, man? I feel like the average person is spitting in my grandmama's face.
Wow.
Because my grandma didn't raise me like that.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Let me keep this thing going. I want to go to Tucson, and I'm gonna make my roll around to everybody, so everybody be patient with me. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother?
I got 11 months and 1 day, and I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
I sit and I come out of the office and I give instructions. And I clearly can see how things can be handled. And I get kickback every time.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I do? Turn around when I give my instructions and I hear the complaint. I say, okay, do the best you can and come back and sit down in the office. Then I go out and I'm faced with another situation. And I clearly can see how it can be handled. And I go out there and I say, if you do this, this, and this, and this, and if you move this here, this here, this is how you can fix this. And I get a kickback and I say, do the best you can, and I come back and sit in the office.
Mm-hmm.
And I do that on a daily basis. 11 months, 1 day, I'm going to walk out of here and don't look back.
Mm-hmm.
I remember applying for this job, and the manager looked at me in my face, and he said, you know why you didn't get it? That was about 8 years ago, maybe 9. He said, you didn't sell yourself. I said, I'm not for sale. You got to be kidding me.
Mm-hmm.
For sale. I got an echo. You hear it? Oh, it's here.
I think it's your line, brother. I don't hear it.
Well, I don't hear it no more. Yes, I do. Anyway, what I'm saying is, after the person that I told them that was going to get the job got the job, they actually came to me from an upper level and told them that if I don't take the job, then nobody gets it. And my manager came to me, another manager came to me, and he said, "Son, when you got the job, I wasn't too happy because I didn't have no hand in it."
Mm-hmm.
I said, I understand. What I'm saying is, just like this morning, I gave some instructions, and I went out there and showed them how it could be done. And they kicked back, and I took 5 minutes and they did it. I said, "That's all you had to do."
Mm-hmm.
And I came back and sit in the office after telling them, "Do the best you can."
Mm-hmm.
And it don't hurt me, but it sure enough it bothers. I'm kind of like Kurt. It don't bother. It don't hurt me because I can do something else.
Mm-hmm.
But to do it, to see, you always have some kind of a kickback, or somebody tells you why, the reason why you cannot, and you just kind of like say, "Well, you know what? I'm done with this." And I'll say this, I should have. I remember my dad retired at 55. He quit the job. He said, and the guy that wanted the job, Caucasian, I'm not talking against them, like Chris, I'm not talking against them. And he said, "Well, why are you quitting?" He said, "So you can get fired."
Mm.
And 2 months later, they gave the guy that wanted my dad's job the job, and he couldn't handle it. He wanted it, and they fired him.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I hear and I understand. And it's not woe is me, the black man. That's what some people may say. "Oh, woe is me, the black." No, it ain't. No, it ain't.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that. It's a little bit more than that. And
Absolutely.
some will never see it.
Never. You got that right. Good deal. Let's keep this thing. I'm gonna go to Badger real quick. I got the video. Rico sent me that video, so I'm gonna play that, and we're gonna set our eyes on that for a little bit. But right now, let me go to Badger. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
Rico spoke truth.
Mm-hmm.
I see it all the time, and it bothers me a lot. Um, but I honestly don't. Other than say some words of encouragement, I don't know what else to say.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you can't fix an entire society by yourself, and I
Yeah.
wish I could.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's an unfortunate truth in our society, and a lot of people don't acknowledge it nor accept it as a truth.
Mm-hmm.
There are
Mm-hmm.
some that I've seen that they work really hard to try not to own it, and they just work as hard as they possibly can.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But the simplicity of it is a truth. Black males have it probably the worst in America than anyone else.
Wow.
And I can acknowledge that and say that it is a truth in America.
Mm-hmm.
And if anyone wants to argue with me, it's not going to be a pretty sight.
508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Toya, what a T talk to me, sis.
Yeah, no, that's some good feedback, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's so much to be talked about, but I got to talk from my daddy's side of pain, right? I remember being younger, talking to him about, the disconnect between me and my brothers and sisters, and the disconnect with my mom not being there, and, just everything as a kid that I felt was wrong or was a pain or wasn't right. And I remember him telling me, you know what, just because people are your family or your friends or your sisters or your cousins, don't mean they for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you cannot live and base your life, and I was young, probably 7, 8, 9, but you can't base your life on what you think something is supposed to be. If things are not going your way, you got to find a way to make it happen. You know, and he began to go into the things that I could possibly endure in life and how I had to be strong. Now, when I was young, I did not get all them conversations my father had for me, but through my times I had to be strong, it was like both moments now. You know what I'm saying? I think through this life though, without this hurt, one thing my father would always harp on still was God. Despite all he been through, like you need something, I ain't never around, you go to the Bible. And through all the things I went through in life, relationships, abusive relationships, jail, you know, a lot of things. And most importantly, the hurt I've done to myself, not finishing school, you know, not choosing a better career, not doing some things that will put me in a better financial position. And that's where God came in. Because God showed me no matter how much it hurts, no matter what hurt that had been caused to me, I can still move on and still be great through it all. And I think that was another light bulb moment for me, you know, and I think that's what we miss. You know, my heart always felt like the devil knew he had to do everything he had to stop me. And that's why he sent molestation my way at night. Very hurtful and very hurtful to even feel that way. But still, I learned later on in life that despite all of my hurts, all of my things, whether I done it to myself or not, God can heal that hurt in ways that I could never imagine. Walked away with a lot of that weight for 20 years, suicidal, promiscuous, it's off the chain, and honest about it too. But again, until I had an encounter with God, until I met him with my truth about the ones I did to myself and the world, the one the world cast it out on me. He couldn't heal me until I let it go.
Wow.
And I think that's what we have to understand as humans, for one, and especially as Black people. You know, all of the pains and all of the hurts that we've been through, they are mirages to make our minds think what we cannot take and what we cannot achieve. But history shows otherwise. It is a trick of your mind, making you seem defeated to keep you off what true destiny God has for you. And we got to treat them like hurdles. Because if we stand up and fight, if we stand up and use that word, I mean the true word. I don't mean that fake word. Listen, this is not the word of God. For someone able to come kill you that's not following that word, and you stand there and let them. Sorry, not with all the warriors I done heard about in the Bible. Not gonna happen over here. But again, until I developed that relationship with the creator of me and was able to go to him so he can fix all of the mistakes, all of the hiccups, I couldn't move out that pain. So that's a solution for the day. Whether
Absolutely.
you Black, white, Mexican, Indian, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you got going on. If you're in pain right now and you done tried everything and ain't nothing working, go in the corner, call a God, challenge him, triple dog dare him to show you what you need to do for him to remove that pain. And I promise it's going to be done. And it ain't going to be the last time you feel pain, but I promise you it's going to start to roll off of you like water on a Band-Aid.
Wow. Water on a Band-Aid. Boy, that's one of them, I don't know if that's an up north or down south terminology right there. Water off a Band-Aid. Okay, there you go, Toya. You hit them that time. Listen, we are about to, you know, I got to be silly. We're about to play this video that Rico shared with us. Rico, tell us about this video.
This is about that study. This is one of our accredited institutions, excellent institutions of education, Yale study. This is a Yale study. And it's pretty much going to be self-explanatory. I guess I can come back after the video is shown, but just check the video out.
Here we go. Let's take a look at it, see what we got here. Go here. Go here. All right. Now let's hit the play button and we are good to go. Now, what are you doing? Lord Jesus, now I want to show me advertising. Lord Jesus, Y'all hold on for a second. They want to show me an advertiser. I don't want to see that, but I might have to just to get past. Let me see. Okay. Y'all, I apologize for this part of it. They want to show me a video. Okay, skip the video. Yes, I do want to skip the video. Now, where's my volume button at?
No, go in the cage. Feeling like summertime in the shade.
Researchers at Yale showed teachers this video clip of 4 preschool students. Their instructions: look for misbehavior and click when you see it. The study was kind of deceptive. None of the kids in the video actually misbehaved. The researchers were using eye tracking software. What they actually wanted to study was who the teachers were watching. Both black and white teachers spent significantly more time watching the black boy in the video. This study showed that even preschool teachers can treat kids differently based on their race without even realizing it. Look elsewhere in the U.S. school system, and you'll see this show up in other ways, like at this middle school in Bryan, Texas. They gave students tickets for offenses like disrupting class or using profanity. Black students were 4 times more likely than white students to receive those tickets. Nationwide, black boys miss way more school due to suspensions than in any other group. And this can start a kind of chain reaction. Missing weeks of school due to suspensions makes students much more likely to drop out. Without a diploma, you're much less likely to earn a living wage, much more likely to be incarcerated. All this missing school is helping drive the highest poverty and incarceration rates in the developed world. So it's worth asking, how did we get here?
Wow. It's worth asking, how did we get here? Go ahead, Rico. I know you had something you want to say after the video.
She said chain reaction, cause and effect. That's why our entire life experience is going to be based off of cause and effect, unless you can snap up out of this matrix and start learning how to dictate the narrative. And even then, you could just be walking home with a pack of Skittles and somebody off you.
Yeah.
They said that each one of those children were told to look for misbehavior, but none of the children were misbehaving. It's almost the same as just walking past a car and somebody clutching their purse and locking the doors. There was a black child another little black girl at that table too.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't get the same thing. You saw those disciplinary tickets. Did you see those handcuffs? But some people will say, woe is me. I don't know where y'all get this black man, this and what. Man, listen, it's real. And you know, it's one thing for a black man to speak this and go through this, starting from preschool. It might even start from birth in the labor department and delivery. It may even start in labor and delivery. The nurses may give you less attention than the little white or light-skinned babies or the little girls. It may give you less attention.
Okay.
You may cry a little more. You start getting that neglect. You start getting that bias. And man.
Hold right there, Rico. Yeah, I know, brother. I know. Let's go to Navy. Navy, what's on your heart, sis?
A lot, but I'm gonna do something right quick because I have a patient that's gonna get ready to come in. I'm gonna remove my ego and self out of the conversation and just speak to y'all as black men, and let me just pour into y'all, into your cup right quick, because I hear the hurt and I hear the pain. And as a black woman, yes, I have a different experience from y'all, but I don't know what it's like to be a black man here in America. I know what I see. I know what I fight for. I know how hard I go for y'all. But please understand, even though you may not feel appreciated and loved in every building or in every aspect, please know that there are some of us that go hard for y'all. I'm the first one, one of the first ones on the front line. Y'all are loved. You are appreciated. I appreciate every single one of y'all. I learn something from y'all every single day. I know it's got to be hard to feel like you're carrying the burden of the world on your shoulders,
Mm-hmm.
and still that's not enough for some people. I just wanted to say that y'all are loved and that you are appreciated, even though you may not feel it every single day. But just know that there are some of us that's rooting for you, that truly appreciate you, and that value you as the kings that you are. So, as I would tell my ladies, adjust your crown, king. Adjust your crown. Some of
Mm-hmm.
us got your back. You don't have to fight it by yourself. So that's all I wanted to say before I head off today.
Good deal. Good deal. Appreciate you, Sister Cole. I'm gonna tell you something. A lot of times, what's not realized, a lot of times we don't have the time to sit back and readjust, and to deal with that situation because we know another one is coming. We know another one is coming. And see, and when we're trying to deal with this situation right here, that's right there in front of us, man. We got to be careful because there could be 3 or 4 more situations coming at us from all different directions. And how do you? It's almost like truth of the matter, almost like we playing dodgeball. Everybody have a ball throwing it at us, and we trying to dodge and trying to maneuver and trying to keep our footing. Keep our footing. That's a word, I guess. Keep our footing because things happen, and things happen. Let me go, Mr. Hicks. What's on your heart, sir?
Oh, interesting conversation, great conversation. I was when Rico he put that stuff out there so clear. You can't have any kind of questions about the value of things.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I when I got pulled out of prison to start a paraprofessional pilot program dealing with juveniles, they pulled inmates out of New Jersey from different institutions that fit whatever the criteria was. I was blessed. I was one of those. I had a crazy sentence. I met this guy in the program. He's Klaus Hashem. His father was Muslim and his mother was Christian, and she was from Germany and he was from Turkey.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was around this guy, I just felt something different energy coming from him. I was still sort of leery, getting over my I guess anger and frustration historically. But when he started explaining, when he lived in Patterson, his brother went to one school, a private school, and he went to public school in Patterson, New Jersey. And they started shooting heroin at 12 years old.
Mm.
And as we got our friendship so close, he started talking about his experience. And I could not, it's like when Rico say that it's hard for anyone other than a black man to really understand the pressure and understand the many things in daily life we have to deal with. And it made me go on the other side. I'm saying I like to see some studies too on the other side, how this whole race, white supremacy thing has affected the other people, because something as hideous as this thing, it affects all parties involved. By that I mean the impact of a white toddler in school watching this stuff and assimilating this stuff. What is the damage is doing to him and changing his perception of other people? I think that that the suffering of discrimination and slavery imposed on one group affects in a different way the same. It damages that party too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the extent of it. I haven't researched, but that's my new goal. When Rico said that, I said, I'm going to figure out. I want to see some studies done on the other side of it, because in my experience, most white people don't understand and know pretty much the same. They're in a loss too about what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
They've been domesticated. We dropped into this earth, dropped into a world full of confusion, full of contradictions, trying to figure our way out.
Mm-hmm.
And the damage that the civilizations put on all participants is cycling spiritually damaging. I just know that when I began to see that we were all one people, human beings, stuck and dropped out of my thing of seeing someone as being our arch enemy from the beginning. I started recognizing that, man, sure, we've in pain. Why everybody using all these drugs? Why everybody I saw my drug use, and I used them all. A lot of acid, a lot of tripping, a lot of that mind expanding stuff that really damage you because it's a shortcut. It's trying to find a shortcut what God sources put there for you to have in a natural sense. But I know that there's pain on both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
And there needs to be understanding all the way around because we suffer from the abuse that they poured on us, and they suffered too.
Exactly.
I just can't figure out how, but I know there is.
Absolutely. Toya, what did he talk to me, sis? Toya, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, go
Mute
ahead.
button was almost mine. But no, you know what? Got to follow up with Navy. You know, God would always put this thing on me about appreciation, about how people don't feel appreciated. And I think that has a way to do with how I move with people. And I got to second that nomination, you know, tell you men that we are sorry about what the world has put y'all through. But I believe that God created y'all to be able to withstand it and do it and lead us through that. And, you know, I hope that some kind of way, you know, you can understand how important you are to this universe and to the existence of everyone and how powerful you truly are, which is the reason why things seem the way they do. You know what I'm saying? But I second that on saying I appreciate you. And if you ever need somebody to fight with you side by side, if y'all don't know by now, Toya with the T ain't gonna never let anything happen to you. But I am gonna hold you to a higher regard because y'all are still my kings. You understand what I'm saying? However, I need to tell y'all that we appreciate y'all. And no matter what happens with the world and when it goes on, and even sometimes we might not show it, but just know that that is what it is. So I second that nomination for Navy, man. Y'all stay strong, whatever y'all need to do. You know what I'm saying? Just be strong with it and trust God at the end of the day, because sometimes the job that y'all have to bear, us women, we're not made to carry that. And sometimes it's only up to y'all. But you know what I'm saying? Continue to, y'all stay strong. Y'all continue to fight. And when God say he is with you, just know that in his timing, y'all gonna have everything y'all want in life, man. So I second that nomination. I appreciate y'all so much, no matter what goes on.
Absolutely. Appreciate you. Curtis, talk to me, brother.
I'm here. What is it you want me to talk to you about, man?
Well, keep the topic where we are. Go ahead.
Well, you know, I hear what the sister's saying. And oh my God, I greatly appreciate what's being said. You understand? It is in my opinion that now that we truly acknowledge that as a man, I have to acknowledge that this systematic breakdown has been going on for hundreds of years. The mindset that we ain't worth a hill of beans, that seed has been planted, watered, grown, harvested, and replanted again. So the question, I think, is the answer, I think, is it's time to shift the mindset within those who go with the false narrative. I hear what the sisters are saying on here now, and I'm so thankful, man. It makes me feel internally that is even being acknowledged, right? But that still don't take away from the fact that there has to be a mindset shift, bro. Like it really has to be a mindset shift to the degree that the world recognizes hey, it ain't right. What we did, what we doing, it ain't right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'll just land the plane like this. For those of you who know, y'all know that I work in programming. I work with homeless youth. You know what I mean? I do that every day. And it made me feel good, but it broke my heart because I was in a committee meeting because I sat on several different committees, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was in a committee meeting and it's a whole bunch of sisters in the committee and it took for this Caucasian American sister to say, hold on, let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody kind of like looking like, you know, like if they could say what they wanted to say, you could tell it was what the, you know, what the H is she talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And she came straight out and said it. This lady done run like 5 different agencies here. She's done run 5 different nonprofit agencies, 2 state-based agencies. So she knows on a much larger level. He came out and said personally, she said, you know what? We have made a grave error.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked her, I said, well, what do you mean? She said, listen, Curtis, I'm going to say what you keep trying to tell us, but nobody seems to be hearing. We have set up all of these programs for all of these young adult black females, and we have left the black males out to dry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow.
And, you know, and me looking around, and I'm looking at programs of interest and this, that, and the third. And it's like, I hate to say it like this, but there's waivers given to the at-risk female population that is not given to the male population. A male may be automatically disqualified, whereas a female could get resources and things of that nature. Now, I'm not saying that it's the female's fault. No, because most of these programs are geared and set up by men, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is we have to start addressing the uplifting of all.
Mm-hmm. Hey Curtis, I'm gonna ask you another
Sorry.
question. I'm gonna go to Badger, and then we just got John. He just joined us as well. Um, do you think a lot of the mindset? Do you think a lot of the mindset is a man should be able to go out there and make it on his own? That he shouldn't have to go out there and depend on this or depend on that to make the difference or fill the void, if you will. That a man should be able to go out there and get it. Is that part of the mindset, or is it just total neglect and overlooking?
That used to be part of the mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Now it appears that there's an excuse being pushed, and the excuses being believed by those the excuses being pushed on is that, oh, it ain't nothing you can do with them. Only thing you can do is just lock them up.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Lock them up. Let them kill each other. You know what I mean? That bootstrap thing. Listen, man. Like my brother say, our dearest brother.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at him and I said, well, Sheriff, how is it that you can ask a man to pull himself up by his bootstraps when he don't have no boots on his feet?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, it is truly in oh man, it goes real deep, brother. It goes real deep. I'm just glad that the women on this panel are actually willing to acknowledge it, because you know a lot of women won't acknowledge it.
Yeah, he's right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Let me go to Badger. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
And It goes into what I was just saying earlier. Pretty much on the same point as what Curtis was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Um, is the oh man, this is gonna be rough. um, to accept that there is such an issue also requires the person on the outside to accept the fact that they are also as guilty. And that is something people don't want to do is accept guilt because I accept my guilt. I'll accept the fact that when uh, a black man that is wearing very suspicious clothing walking by my car very slowly at night while I'm outside smoking, it's going to give me a little bit more of an edge than anyone else. Want to know
Mm-hmm.
why? Because on the
Mm-hmm.
news, who is the pretty much the number one being that's usually blamed for guns, for everything else? And then I catch myself and go, no, I'm judging. That's not okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm willing to, as the white skinned person on the show, of admitting, yes, it's out there. I'm also guilty of it. I'm not going to
Mm-hmm.
sit here and say it doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
When I see a white male, if they're dressed all nice, I probably think they're either a silver tongued devil or they're just a drunk redneck that don't want to do anything. When I see a black male, based on how society has portrayed them, I automatically think they have a gun.
Mm-hmm.
They could possibly be, matter of fact, it was black males that were blamed for stealing all the dogs around here and everything else. They didn't say anything about any white people or anything else that was involved. It was only black males that were doing it, going
Mm-hmm.
around stealing dogs for dog fighting. Don't really hear
Wow.
much about Asian males.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing you really hear about people from Mexico, the Mexican males, I don't know the proper term, so I apologize if I offend anybody, or Hispanic, I guess is a more appropriate term,
Mm-hmm.
is they live a bunch of people in the same house and send money to their families in Mexico. So out of all of it, the most toxic that is in our society has been black males. And anyone that oh boy, I'm trying to be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's one of those things of yes, I understand. Don't own it. Prove it wrong, so on and so on. I understand that, and I mean, I'm pretty sure Rico and every other black male on this call does that every single day. Prove it wrong. But
Mm-hmm.
that does not get rid of the fact of how much BS they have to deal with every single day.
Amen.
Absolutely.
There's always this expectation of who and what they are. Oh, it's a black male. They probably got a large member. They probably drink a whole bunch. They probably carry guns all the time. And if you give them a chance, they'll rob you blind.
Mhm.
That's a typical society thought process.
Wow.
Am I
Wow.
wrong?
Now I can't say that you are, brother. I can't say
Well,
that you
then let's fix it.
are. Mm-hmm.
That's the issue.
Absolutely.
Instead of just, man,
Hey, John, you had called
I,
in.
I'm a mental health advocate, so I apologize. These kinds of topics get me heated.
There you go. John, I saw you had called in, brother. You get a chance, I'll call back in, man. We love to have your input on this conversation. So 508-924-3521. Get an opportunity to call back in. I guess I wasn't able to get to you fast enough. There might be you right there. But right now I'm gonna go to Joyful J. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good day to everyone. How are you all? As my good friend, I call him Brother Rico, would say, welcome to a brand new day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What I know you've been listening to this conversation and the dialogue we're having, brother. What's on your heart right now?
Oh, so much. I had to call in today. I had to be a part of this show today. It's such a great topic, and all of it got sidetracked when my good brother Badger was just talking, because
Mm-hmm.
that is the problem. That's the situation. Whenever they see And I'm so applauding you, bro, for talking right now, because anytime you see anything on television, the news, anywhere, the narrative is all blacks are dangerous. You can be in a suit and tie. If you're a big black man, you're dangerous. Suit and tie. You can be just wearing shorts. You're dangerous. And that's and then when you go into people's cars or anything like that, or you walk in at nighttime in a group of young fellas or whatever, they automatically assume, as Badger was just saying, every one of them are drug dealers. They're in a gang. They all got guns. They're going to do you harm. That's the problem right there. And for so long, we've been living with this for so long, but we're told as black men and women, you got to brush it, you got to sweep it under the rug. It will come. Martin Luther King's speech, Dr. Martin Luther King's, someday we shall overcome someday. We're still waiting for that someday, and it's 2022. That's the problem.
Exactly. Wow. Sister Willa.
If I can say one more thing, I'm sorry. But on the narrative, on the opposites of track, you have to look at both sides of the track. On the opposites, black men, we look at white people, a lot of us, white people, as they're con artists. They're only going to be nice to you for so long because they want something, and they're going to crap on you in the end. So it's both ways, and that's the narrative that society has fed us, and we're eating it over and over again every day.
Absolutely. Willa, good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
Hey, Raheem. Good morning, Morning Glow.
Good morning, sis.
Beautiful day.
Absolutely. Now, what's on your heart about what we're talking about?
You know, what Jay just said, he said, when is are we going to overcome? What's keeping us from overcoming? That's the problem. I want to know what's keeping us. I do understand the past, and I know what we've been through as people, especially black men and women, because we as women have to fight double fold. Not only do we have to fight other cultures, but we even sometime or another have to fight our own culture from a male standpoint. But I can only talk about, can I just say a few things about my father? My father was 17 years old when he graduated from high school. He graduated from high school it was Crane here in the city of Chicago. And it was an all-male school that was predominantly white. His parents didn't get nothing but an 8th grade education. He had 10 kids. And out of the 10 kids, my father was the only one that had graduated from high school. And he was a rebel. He would always fight. He was a good father, could I say that? A wonderful father. As far as being a good husband, my mama would have to tell you that. But he was a wonderful father, and he only had daughters. And he tried to instill in his daughters the same thing that he would have almost instilled in his male child if he had one. He taught us how to paint, how to do drywall. I just want to say he taught us how to be strong. And he tried to set us up for this world. He was a preacher. He kept us in church. And I'm just saying, I saw his fight. One thing I liked about my daddy was you couldn't break him. You couldn't break him. Because every time you gave him another fight, it was like he was Muhammad Ali in that ring. He was ready to keep fighting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Raheem. So I can only go through his experience. And the pain that each and every last one of you guys, our experiences are your own individual pain. But don't let it break you. Don't let it break you. Because if it got you this far, it could get you a little further. That's what's on my heart.
Good deal. Cassandra, talk to me, Cassandra. I know you're there, sis. What's on your heart? Cassandra?
Yes, Raheem.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You know, man, I don't even know where you are with the topic right now, but when I was on early this morning and I got off real quick, someone broke into my car last night and busted out my passenger window, went all through my our people, man, We do each other worse than anybody else, man. This is a senior living facility. We have 11 cars out here this morning that have been broken into.
Wow.
Steering wheels torn up, car windows broken, catalytic converters gone. What? I don't understand. I don't understand the mentality of a lot of our people, man. We hurt each other more than anything else. Everybody in this building is on a fixed income, and some of these people have been broken into 3 and 4 times. Thousands of dollars.
Wow.
I'm sorry, I don't even know what y'all are talking about, but I'm so upset right now because this just.
Take your time, sister. Absolutely, I understand. I
understand. It's just not good. We got to do better, man. I don't want to talk about the white man. I want to talk about the black man. I want to talk about what we do to each other.
Okay. Now,
that's what I want to talk about.
Now, let me ask you this question right here. Do they know who did it? Do they know whether it may not have been a black man? It could have been anybody that actually broke into the car.
No. This area ain't no. You barely see white people over here where we live. And they have seen on camera it's black people.
Wow.
It's black people. It ain't no white people. It's black people.
Okay.
Doing it to ourselves. I don't know. Anyway.
Well, if we're gonna deal with this in the conversation, we got to deal with both sides of the coins, and that is a part of the coin as well. We have to get past that point right there where we're hurting and doing different things to ourselves, because that's almost like old folks will call it, and ain't no old folks on here, but old folks will call it crabs in a bucket mentality. Every time.
Yeah, I'm an old folk. I'm 63. I consider myself an old folk.
Okay, old folk.
And I just I consider myself an old folk. And it's okay. I love being my age because I didn't have to be here. You know a lot of what I've been through. I'm not supposed to be here.
Absolutely.
So it's just I'm just hurt. I'm hurt for the people that live here. I'm hurt for myself because this man. Anyway. I don't know what we were talking about, but I just wanted to call back in to let you know what happened. Okay. Why, got off the phone so quick.
Well, what we was talking about, we had transitioned over to I think it was Navy that shifted the conversation in the way that it went, talking about the appreciation. We were talking about how the black man has been through so much, and the trials and tribulations that they have to go through every day is unbearable, that a lot of other people will not be able to bear what we have to go through every day. And she and Toya and a couple other people were saying how much they appreciate us and how we have to be strong, and they got our backs, and we have to stand together, work together, and make them better. But they definitely wanted to acknowledge the fact that they do appreciate us as black men and what we had to endure.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with them. We definitely need to appreciate, the black man. And I don't appreciate these that do this kind of stuff, but I definitely appreciate, there are a lot of awesome black men. I've always said that. I don't care. And I mean, I'll say that till the very end. There's some amazing black men out here. And a lot of them have helped sustain black women. As much as people say black women are strong, without the black man, I don't believe many of us would be as strong as we are. Whether they've taught us that through trial or whether they've taught us that through love, we definitely have it.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's
but
good.
Okay. Thank you,
Rico. What's on your heart, brother? And let me say this: our topic today, we're actually talking about the topic already without knowing that we're talking about the topic. And it is, can we coexist? Is the top? What's the topic for the day? So we're actually touching on that in everything that we said so far. So go ahead, Rico.
The opposite of favor is bias.
Yeah.
Now, what happened is everybody started addressing this situation from the adult male perspective. But they forgot about that young preschool boy. See, that's where it started at. You saw that video that started with a young black male in preschool that was being shown bias.
Targeted.
Now, this is the problem. And this is how you fix it. The guilt and the shame from those white teachers and black teachers.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. You see, we could say it's racism, but now just think about the disorder and the impact that it has on us to look at ourselves that way as preschoolers. Some of these teachers might have had children. I wonder if they look at their own sons or their own nephews like that. Probably do.
No.
Or they probably don't look at their own family members like that because them the ones molesting their kids. The other cousins,
Wow.
they need them to babysit for them while they go to the Dominican and get BBLs.
Mm-hmm.
So they come back to school next year and teach and be hot, the hot preschool teacher. You know, what happened is not only do the white teachers look at the young black preschooler like that, but the black teachers look at the young black preschooler like that. And then it trickles down and causes a chain reaction in our own communities. Well, we look at each other like that. It's a common systemic racism. And it doesn't even have to happen from just white people. So now the problem is, I'm gonna say the solution is acknowledging that it exists, because that's what that video did. That video exposed people that say that I ain't racist. Because I'm pretty sure if you would have asked those white teachers, are you racist? No, I'm not racist. I love children. Okay, well, we want y'all to look out for misbehavior. Keep my eye on that little black boy. Ask the black teachers, are you racist? Oh, well, no, I can never be racist. I'm a black woman myself. I'm a black queen, black magic, girl magic. Well, we want you to watch this video about children misbehaving. Look at that little black boy. Oh, yeah, look at her. They're so cute. Look at that black boy. Yeah, look at it. They acting so good. I don't see nothing wrong. Look at that black boy. But are they actually realizing they're doing that? See, when people like Badger said, Badger hit it on the head. When you can acknowledge that you do that, then you can fix it. But so many people are in denial and deflection that even our own sisters are in denial that they really don't respect us. We can't even advise them without it being called correction. We can't even counsel them without it being called chastisement or trying to be called control. And it might be just concern instead of control. But we're looked at as adults, but it starts at youth. So what it is these people that actually create these conditions have to understand the part that they're playing in it, because I'm pretty sure a lot of the black boys that's killing other black boys aren't racist, but for some reason they have still been mentally programmed to be more suspicious against people that look just like them, starting from the very beginning. That is a mental programming. It's a poison, a virus that has infected all of mankind. And we do have to realize that, man, listen, there's a very huge concerted effort against young black males.
Absolutely.
And it's subconscious and subliminal, unconscious.
508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. And I like to, my thing is, as the question asked, I like to deal with both sides of the coin. And I have to also say, and I not saying anything against Rico, what Rico just said, I agree with him as well. But on the other side of the coin, there's some great individuals out here that's also doing some great things and trying to uplift. They may run into certain roadblocks. They may run into a whole lot of roadblocks when they're trying to do that in that process. But at the same time, it does not mean that they do not exist. So acknowledge and kudos to the ones that are trying to uplift and do the right things. Now, that could be black, white, orange, polka dot, or lily stripe. But at the same time, I saw this one thing, and I loved it, man. Y'all probably saw it too. It was a little video with it was a male teacher, elementary school teacher. And when his kids was coming before they go into the classroom every morning, he got this little handshake and stuff like that. And they uplift, and the kids be so happy when they do it, man. It's like he's starting their day off on a positive note. Each one of them, he have them in a line before they come into the classroom. He stand at the door doing his little handshake. Each one of them got their own little shake, blah, 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 blah. Now, I don't know. Some people say, well, he's introduce them to games and stuff like that. No, the man has something that he do with his children that connects with his young children and put them on a high so they can go into their day on a positive note. But you know how folks, there's some folks gonna say all kind of stuff. But let me go to Ibrahim. Ibrahim, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
Well, I tell you what. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. The topic that we start out on to now, I kind of had to try to do some things, but wow, y'all, I am happy that people are saying these things because it almost linked to what we was talking about this morning. But coexistence, right?
Yes.
Coexistence. I think that's some type of equality. You know, when I was young, everybody talking about the problems of integration and what happened with integration. Integration wasn't the problem; it's assimilation, right? We're not ready to. We as a group of people that look at ourselves being Afro American or black, we don't want to assimilate. By the very statement, we don't want to assimilate, and we're not allowed to assimilate to be or to coexist because of the color of our skin. You know what I mean? So in essence of that, then we to coexist, we have to become our own selves equal. We have to being able to do for ourselves. And everybody out here talk about being American and everything and all like that. They don't want to bring nothing to the table, but to assimilate in the products that they already have there in front of them. We don't celebrate the black farmers out there or people that can actually produce go out there and we celebrate people like billionaires like Oprah Winfrey. We forget billionaires that were tech industry or actually built their own things, of produce. So I think that
Shoot, you got some stuff going on, boy. You got some great karma finance. That's good.
Okay. Somebody need to mute. Somebody need to mute the line.
I got this.
Somebody need to mute the line. I can hear your conversation.
I'm gonna stop.
I ain't talking to you yet.
Go ahead. Ibrahim, go ahead, brother.
Okay. Well, that's what I was saying is that we're that's what Booker T. Washington was saying. We're not at the point. We need to learn to do for ourselves. And he said that in the speech that everybody calls him a sellout, and that's the speech he did in 1895 in Atlanta Piedmont Park in Continent's position. They call it the Atlanta Compromise. So how could stop that? But if you look at what he was saying and put time in perspective, apparently, we had gotten to the legislative body, but we were actually thrown out on our face. Elected officials, black legislators thrown on the face and everything. So can we coexist? No. Not unless we rise to the point of equality. You know what I mean? Like we do for ourselves and not be dependent on other people. We blast other people about what they need to do for us and everything. And you got colored people not doing any better. They had white projects back in the day. You know what I mean? All white people are not wealthy and out there doing their things. You can ride around some neighborhoods around here. You can see poverty. They might have a house, but just bare. You know what I mean? Living worse than most black people I've seen. You know what I mean? So I know what it is to see white poverty. There was a cabbage town back in the day. I know what it is to see white poverty. And I know what it is to see black poverty. So can we be equal? No, I don't think so. Unless we do for ourselves. We just want to be equal because I'm an American just like you are. No. We want to be equal and say, well, I can sit at the table with you to make decisions that affect me. That's what you call equality. That's what you call coexistence. You know what I mean? And but we haven't arrived at that yet. We still want to assimilate, but we want to be ourselves.
Good deal. Good
deal. What I mean?
Good deal. Let me go to Willa. Willa, can we coexist?
Yes, we could coexist, Raheem, but that's just another level of understanding your coexistence. Because of our human behavior, we have the free will to choose and make the decisions that we can make that are accepted. Because you're gonna have fights, that is for sure. But I'm trying to say it to put it in an area where you need something independently to help you through this evil and wicked world. So, because everybody is not spiritual. Everybody doesn't understand that concept. And the 3 minutes that I have to talk, I can't even explain that part. But yeah, we can coexist. But it's about choices. And I was listening to Cassandra and I felt her pain, her anger. She's more disappointed than she's anything. Because we're always trying to lift our culture up But it seems like our culture takes us 2 and 3 steps back.
Mhm.
Why? When is that going to happen, and when is that going to change? And how can we change that?
Mhm.
That's the coexistence that we need to figure out. Who's shaking the job?
Exactly. Let me go to Mr. Hicks. Mr. Hicks, you there? Mr. Hicks, you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Can we coexist?
We have. We have been coexisting since we came on the planet. It hasn't been peaceful. It hasn't been productive and positive, but we have coexisted in a very strange kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
I think when I think about Cassandra, it hit me in my heart because I felt again like I felt it. I really felt that the disappointment because she holds her people in high esteem.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes me sort of come to the fact, come to a reality that a lot of the projection of people on us as a people is found in a base of reality, but it's not understanding how you get to that reality.
Mm-hmm.
You get these kids that come from broken families that don't have a structure, and that they're not forced to be disciplined all the days through summer and after school. And then they go to school and they're required now to be able to sit down and focus, but they haven't been taught that.
Mm-hmm.
They just be a lesson I read. It says they lost knowledge of themselves and they begin to live a beach life.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking at another clipping from back in the '60s where they had these little preschool kids in school, and the commentator was asking them. He said, "Are you a Negro?" And he said, "No." He said, "If I give you money, will you say you're a Negro?" He said, "No." He said, "What are you?" He said, "I'm an Afro-American." And I went back over my mind as a people, right? We're the only people on the planet that are going through these shifts in who we are because we don't know who we are. When they took the census, they began to define it. I remember when I was little, my grandmother was telling about her grandparents, and they were. I was trying to figure out where the names came. Like I had an uncle called OC, and in my research and going back trying to track things, OC was an Indian chief in Florida, Seminole down in that area, and which is my lineage to go back. But they sort of did a paper genocide of us about who we are, because who we are has been changed so many times.
30 seconds.
There's this whole the whole out of Africa thing. I think that the bottom line is it's finding out who we are. That's finding truth. We got to find out who we are in this earth.
Exactly. Toy, you with a T. I saw you going to jump up and down over there for a second, but I think he cleaned it up for you. So what's on your heart, Toy?
Oh my, no, it came. I didn't know I wasn't on mute. No, y'all are right on point.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has some great stuff to say. But my heart does go out to Cassandra right here. I want to, Miss Cassandra, if you would send me a cash app.
Yes.
I don't have much, but I just want to send something your way because I know how it goes. So just text me your cash app, and I need to just kind of send you a couple of dollars. Just grab yourself lunch or something because I already know how it goes. But these are the things that makes it challenging to hold on. Because we talk about the issues that have contributed to a lot of our actions, and when we grow older, we still commit those actions, those crimes. That's what we're talking about, right? We're talking about the systematic issues that take place that causes our behaviors to be negative. All right. Situations like these is what make us say, see, that's why. And I've spent a lot of time trying to be an advocate for my people, but when I see what we do to ourselves, it's like, see, that's why. And majority rules, So when there was a majority of white people running around ravaging through our homes, it was an issue and an atrocity, but it has now changed from it being white people ravaging through our homes, shooting us dead in the streets, to our own. But hey, let me tell you something. If you allow me to kill my own before I was born, what you think is going to happen when you live? The taste for murder, baby.
Yeah.
the taste of wickedness, and we don't even know it. We don't even acknowledge it or see it. But this pandemic that goes on unspoken about,
come on,
unchallenged, unrecognized, is what causes to be the death of us. And again, if we don't go to God, because we're not gonna see it. I remember when I was destruction of us. It's hard for us to acknowledge it. Every time I manipulated a black man, I was the issue. Every time I robbed one, manipulated one, cheated one, or even did it to myself, I was the issue against my people. And God has me correcting that.
Absolutely.
And with some of these issues for our people specifically, we have to check ourselves and get back in line. There's no excuses. There's no excuses for one to do it to any human being, let alone our own. But again, that pays for murder. That starts, like Rico said, before the womb. You wasn't wanted before the womb. And you think now that you're going to be able to be on this earth and live with peace, and you just steady walking, knowing that you are a born inside commodity. Let's not talk about human trafficking. Let's talk about domestic trafficking. When you had a kid just to get the food stamps, just to get the child support.
Wow.
And the torment you got to go through, and then you're wondering why I'm walking around here a monster.
My God.
Hold right there, Toya. Hold right there, sis. You putting it out there. Joyful Jay, talk to me, brother.
This is a powerful, powerful, powerful conversation. And again, just like everyone else, my heart is definitely going out to Miss Cassandra. I'm praying for you, sis. I don't have much either, but I'm definitely praying for you. But that, again, is the previous young lady just said. When we hear that a black man killed another black man, we say, oh, that's what we used to. We're known for that. We there we go again. That's just what we do. But you got to understand, it's systematically structured that way. After I believe Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King, and Malcolm X passed away, they started putting this stuff out there, separating the black man from his family, then making the black woman say, "Well, I'm independent; I can do it all by myself." When God said we need a help meet, and in the beginning, and then you got so many people killing people because, well, I'm justified. It's learned behavior. They see it on TV. They see it on the news. They see it everywhere. And then I ain't got it, so I'm gonna take it. And if I do go to jail, I got 3 hots and a cot, so at least I still got somewhere to live. So they're trying to justify, or we're trying to justify our own actions. But again, this has been put in place since before we were born. Every one of us is up here. Was born. This is put into place by the hierarchies. I'm going to say the hierarchies to separate the black man, the black families, to separate it. And now, since we don't have black family, mamas, most black people, not all, most black people grew up with just their mama, and a revolving door of which daddy is it going to be this week or this month. So it's learned behavior. We learned mom get talked about, or dad get talked about. So we start talking about people. We learned to not pay this bill so we can pay that bill. To rob Peter to pay Paul. That's the quote that we always say. So we learned these things from kids. So how can you change that? It's a mind thing. We wrestle not against blood, but against principalities. It's spiritual wickedness in high places. I'm done.
Absolutely. Rico, talk to me, brother.
I mean, he said it, man. I mean, sometimes you have to do some self-evaluation. Like Badger said, he does some self-evaluation and he caught himself. And he said, you know what, man, that I'm wrong. I know where I learned that from. I know where I picked it up from. I picked it up from this news. I seen during 9/11, they take every opportunity to do these things. During 9/11, man, I seen all type of heroic footage of white people and first responders doing great things and suffering and all in peril and this and that, man. And then all of a sudden they start talking about that gold and that money that went missing up under the World Trade Center. And you know how sometimes they'll put a picture up on the side when they talking about something in the news, they have a picture illustrating. And guess what they showed? A bunch of black first responders. That was my first time seeing an image of all black first responders, and the story was about the gold and the money that came up missing during 9/11.
Wow.
It's subconscious programming. And now think about it, like I said, it started at preschool. See, this is the part we keep missing. This starts in the labor and delivery room. But I bet if you put a camera in that labor and delivery room, them little black males gonna get the least attention until they get around their mamas. Now, we had the black teachers and maybe some black nurses, but the black teachers that looked at that little young black male, that young black preschool, I guarantee you they're not racist. But a mindset exists. And now we even do it. And we have to acknowledge that it's there. We have to acknowledge that, look, man, for some reason, I treat my brother different. You know, it's hard on when you go to some jobs and you point out to somebody, hey, man, you're selling out. You tap dancing. What you mean? When white folk come around, you start talking proper, or you treat this one nicer than you treat everybody else. Why you respect them and you don't respect them? Why do we respect everybody but ourselves? Why these young black boys ain't respecting each other? Why they finding every reason to disrespect each other, to not coexist? See that infection, man, it done took a whole different turn. And even though our sisters got our backs and everybody understand and they support us, it's still going to be some correction that has to be done on the end of those that are implementing these things. When we see it, we have to let them know, look, you being biased. Look, you being prejudiced. You showing favoritism. And don't let them find no type of way to justify it, even if it's some sorry, no good black men out here.
Wow. Let me go to hold on. Let me go to Tucson. Hadn't spoke to you in a minute, brother. What's on your heart? Oh, can we coexist?
With who? Just we've been trying for how long? I mean, we've been trying. We've been giving a good effort. But then for some reason or another, there's certain people that they wish it would fall from the face of the earth. And they make an assumption that life would be so much better if I wouldn't have to pull my kid closer to me when I'm in the grocery store because they show up. Rico said something about on the job. I watch over and over again. I can look at somebody all day long and I know they ain't doing nothing. And I'm watching them. I'm looking at you. Not necessarily because I keep up with the paperwork. So I know I don't even have to watch you. I know what's going on. Because I pass out the paperwork. So I look for a response. And the response is just make sure your paperwork right. That's all you got to do. So I look at them looking at their paperwork. And they say, when you go by them, they say, I'm doing my paperwork. Okay, yeah. But time somebody else show up, oh, you up now. Oh, really? And you up now. And so I had to pull some aside. I said, let me tell you something, what I got a problem with you. I say, I passed by you 2-3 times and you're sitting in the same place. You go from door to door doing nothing. I'm watching you. Doing nothing because it got to be done. And I'm looking at what needs to be done. And it ain't being done because you're going from door to door doing nothing. But time somebody else come in, you up with your paperwork, moving around like you doing something. I know you still ain't doing nothing, but you want them to think that you're doing something.
At least you're moving.
So why you? Yeah, I said, why are you doing that? Why you do that? You tripping. So yeah, we can coexist, but the way we treat each other is the bad thing. Is the way we exist in. It's like this film is around our eyes and our ears and our mouth, and we talk to each other crazy too. We bow up at each other. While when somebody else come around, yes, and say, look at this. I'm in the corner.
Yes, you're
saying that.
Yes, you're in the corner, sir. You are in the corner. I bet you what's on your heart.
You know, I was thinking about what Rico was saying, and to me, it's one of those situations of when are people going to be brave enough to break the cycle and accept it? Sitting there thinking about the kids and the things that they're being brought up into. I shared my experience of what I was taught as a child, and I had to break that cycle. We have a responsibility as adults to acknowledge the issues that our kids are inheriting.
That's good.
And I think there are too many weak-minded people in this country that always deflect. And I don't care if I offend anybody. I really don't. Not anymore. I'm getting too old to care. What I care about is how these kids are being brought up. Because the more these kids are getting brought up, seeing all this nonsense, seeing all this junk in our society, it's going to be a vicious cycle over and over and over. And until you get your head out of your tail end, quit following social media to the point of letting it control your mind because you're too weak to see different, and let Great Spirit guide your soul and your mind, you are part of the problem. You are not a solution. And until you're but you're probably too weak to understand what I'm saying. And that's okay. You'll get it eventually. And that's the issue. When
Wow.
people are speaking truth, people are too scared to accept that it is truth. They're too scared. They're fearful. Because to stand against the norm requires a human being to be strong-minded and strong-willed and connected to something that is greater than themselves. And once that happens, you start risking your life. You really do. And too many people are afraid of death to stand up against all this BS that is in our
Wow.
society, from music to things that are going on in people's communities. I mean, I was sitting there crying when Cassandra was telling me what she was telling me. And then I thought about it. It's the kids. Kids honestly do not have a good role model anymore, not even in schools. None of them do. The
30
kids are
seconds.
teaching the older people how to respect each other more than the older people teaching the kids to be respectful. That is sad that when kids are inheriting how to treat each other better than adults do, there's a problem. And
Absolutely.
until adults realize that the kids know better about how to live as one than I'm going to say 90% of the adults in America.
Wow. Wow.
And if and if they ain't got the mental capability to understand that it's shame and guilt and understand that there's accountability in place, then maybe they're the ones that need to go.
Absolutely. Toya with a T. Talk to me, sis. Toya.
Yeah. Again, a great feedback from everybody. I don't know. I think I'm kind of running out of things to say on this topic only because I'm in the process of trying to overcome pain, right? And sometimes trying to do that, staying there is a dark place.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? When you're trying to come from a place of everything we're talking about, abuse, molestation, neglect, being told what you can achieve, not being properly supported. If you stay there, you're going to stay there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think a part of the growing process is you can't be around people that remind you of those people, places, and things like Narcotics Anonymous. You can't be around those people that remind you of those people, places, and things because that is a supernatural spirit that takes over you. Okay. I also want to throw out how influential what we see matters with coexistence. Okay. The things that we see, whether it's a son seeing a man talk to his mother disrespectfully, and that's how he treats women as he get older, how he is taught how to treat women or how he decides to treat women, because it ain't about how your parents teach you, it's going to cause a ripple in how we coexist.
That's good.
If a man normally, because the man is the leader, and most women don't do these things. Most women don't start wars. But if a man was to start to take the fact that color is an issue, or strength is an issue, and they want to try to beat or show, make them powerless, kill, murder, destroy for what they have. You know what I'm saying? That is going to cause a ripple of how we coexist. But again, those are all personal choices and decisions that's causing a ripple. I don't think it has nothing necessarily to do with a color or a gender. But again, that tastes of murder, like I said before. That tastes the wickedness on what you're willing to do, and that is a choice that causes us on how we want to coexist. Because I want to coexist as the queen, and that means if I gotta kill all the women and leave only the ones that's gonna bow down to me, then so be it. But oftentimes that is a male's way of dealing with things, and not the woman. The woman, it happens, but again, normally when it comes to savagery,
30
that's
seconds.
not a ladylike thing to do. It's the male, and that's what causes ripple. You know what I'm saying? So I think, again, we have to be clear and defined on, the reasons why we can't coexist, and that they are man-made reasons, not natural reasons. You know what I'm saying? It ain't tornadoes that keep us from each other. It's us that keep us from each other. And that's what we have to acknowledge when we have these conversations. We have to assume our own responsibility for what we do to each other, and not blame it on other forces.
Absolutely. Good deal. We're about to get out of here, man, but it's straight up and down 10 o'clock, so we're about to end the broadcast. But I want to go to Willa. I think she got something on her heart. Willa, what's on your heart?
I was just listening to Toya, and she makes just so much sense all the time. It's that supernatural that we're missing, because it's always going to be a void missing. I was thinking about the time that even when we talked about how much money we have, a power. You can have all the money in the world, all the power in the world, but there's still going to be a void. And we need to find out what that void is. What I'm saying?
Absolutely.
In my inner circle, I just thank God that I'm around a lot of positive people, but I'm also around people that always, want some to help, or they're enabling themselves some kind of way. But what we do is we don't try to enable them. We try to give them a solution. You know what I'm saying, Raheem? Because if you got somebody that's always every minute, every second calling you, asking you, what should I do? Then that means that they can't coexist on their own. They're so independent. So I like the fact that that Toya explained the supernatural. See, having that supernatural within you helps you to be that independent person on making decisions, because you think it's you, but it's not really you.
Wow.
So when we learn and when we understand the supernatural of this world and realize that we cannot coexist without God, we'll live in a better world, Raheem.
Absolutely.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Amen.
Da, 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 da. I'm loving it. Rico, what's going on at 3 o'clock today, sir?
If you missed today's broadcast and would like to see or hear the rebroadcast in its entirety, you can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dklmediagroup.com.
Hey, Rico, that frog almost got you that time, didn't it?
Yeah. You jump from your throat and jump from your throat to mine.
Yeah, you saw that, huh? Oh, you saw that. Oh, he gonna call me out, boy. Ain't he think he saw it. But look here, Rico, is she here, man?
Yeah, she just finished talking. I know she ain't ran that fast.
She ain't ran that fast.
Same boat.
There you go. Hey, well, this is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna do. Because I know she's here, but I'm gonna go to Jay for 1 second, because I think he got something on his heart. I'm looking at him, man. I think he got something he want to say before we go there. So, Jay, what's on your heart, brother?
See, that's God telling you I had something to say, because I did have something to say. I want you to celebrate with me and pray with me tomorrow morning at 4 a.m. I celebrate 16. I'm trying not to cry. 16 years from my car accident where I almost lost my life, and God spared me to be the man that I am today. So y'all, tomorrow's gonna be an emotional day. I'm gonna try to get on here, but if I cry, if I shout tomorrow while I'm on here, don't worry about it, to my heart. But y'all pray for me and celebrate with me tomorrow.
Absolutely. And tomorrow's Way Out Wednesday. So we want to shout, jump up and dance, run around the room, whatever you want to do, brother. This is Way Out Wednesday. Do that.
Say no more.
Yes, sir. Now, Willow, She
Raheem,
evidently
come on, let's go.
I didn't think she heard me, so let me do it one more time because hold on, Willow.
Raheem.
Okay. Well, I want to make sure you're there. Willow, are you ready?
Raheem,
yes.
I am so ready.
Now, are you
Raheem,
sure you're ready?
Let's go.
You sure you're ready?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Raheem, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Let's go.
Receive the word of God.
Well, Willow, let's go.
Father God, come on, let's go. Let's go. Father God in heaven, Lord, I thank you. Father, first I want to ask you to decrease Willa and allow the Holy Spirit to go forth where someone will receive your message. Father, we thank you so much for what you do in our lives. Father, we praise and honor you, oh Lord. Father, you said that when we praise you, that we'll have blessings that we wouldn't even be able to receive. And Father, we believe your promises and we stand on your word this morning. We thank you so much for the conversation, Lord. Father, we know that you've broken many of the chains in the lives of the people that are on this line today. And Father, we believe that when you did it back then, you will do it today.
Yes, Lord.
Father, we trust you and we honor and glorify you. And we know that we can't do nothing without you. We trust you, Lord. And we thank you for what you do. Father, keep allowing the Holy Spirit to dwell in our lives. Keep us, protect us, guide us, show us your way, line us up with your will. We thank you so much for what you do, Lord. We don't always do the right thing. But Father, we know that as long as you love us unconditionally, that we're going to get the victory. We thank you, Lord, for what you do. In Jesus' name, keep touching this radio show, DKM Radio, making it successful. Touch right here and keep him safe.
Yes,
in Jesus' name.
Jesus' holy
name. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Lord.
All right, God in heaven.
Yes,
Lord.
Rico, I see you, brother. Go ahead, Rico. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. Okay, all right. We'll leave it right there.
Ain't no words.
Yeah,
no words to be said, man.
There you go. There you go. I'm looking at the clock, man, and it's 10:06. I want to thank everybody for joining us, man. It's been a great broadcast. We had a topic, and we was on the topic without even knowing we was on the topic. Because we talked about that thing the whole broadcast. Can we coexist? And we talked about a lot of layers, a lot of things that was going on, man. And we touched it, we tackled on a lot. And I hope that each one of you will continue to spread the broadcast and invite some more people. Invite some more people, man, to come and tune in and join in. Tune in, join in, call in, be in with us. Because if we all come together and we get on the same accord, we just have the dialogue, get on the same accord, man, I believe we can make a difference. I really believe we can make a difference. But it's going to take a collective effort from all of us. And we got to come sometimes to our feet. Now, I'm going to go country. Our feet is going to get stepped on. But you know what? It's okay. It's okay. Because that's what it takes sometimes. Sometimes, old man told me a long time ago, he said, sometime in order to wake him up, you got to shake him up a little bit. In order to wake him up, you got to shake him up. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to shake him up, and we're going to shake each other up too. We're not going to always agree on here with each other. We're not going to agree. Everything that's being said across this table here, we're not going to always agree with each other. We all got our own life experiences and things that we've gone through, and we don't deal with them the same. If say me, I'm gonna deal with the people that's just on the screen here. If me, Rico, Jay, and Badger were to stand in a line, and somebody come into the room, one guy come into the room with 10 people behind him that got AR-15, whatever, he get all 10 of them got guns, and there's one guy in the front. He's standing in front of, and he come up there and he slap each one of us in the face. We all may have a different idea of what we're going to do or what our thought pattern is, but we all got slapped, and we all see them 10 people with those guns, and if we stand on the line, they're gonna mow us down. But that don't mean we don't have our idea of what we're going to do if given the opportunity. If given the opportunity, I'm sure that the one consistent thing about it, I'm going to get you. So when we say I'm going to get you, now I'm stepping outside of that slap situation. But when we say I'm going to get you, why can't we say I'm going to get you to do better? I'm going to get you to think better. I'm going to get you to be better. Why can't we do that? Why does it always, when I'm going to get you, why does it always mean I got some malice or some illness in my heart for you, and I'm going to get you in a negative way? Where's the positive? If I'm going to get you, let's let it be something positive. I'm going to get you to think better, do better. I'm going to get you to think better and be better. That way, we're making a pot. You take a little smaller pebble. Take a smaller pebble. I'm going to get out of here, man. I'm talking too much. Take a smaller pebble and you throw it in the middle of any body of water. I guarantee you there's going to be a ripple that's going to go and cover that whole pool. Why can't it be a positive pebble that you're throwing in somebody's life? Try throwing a positive pebble in their life and let the ripple that comes up be something positive, not always negative.
Hey, Raheem.
Yes, sir.
I thought about something, man. I put this on the post earlier, and this is probably something that need to be said, man. Sometimes there is a lot of shame and guilt that comes with accountability.
Mm-hmm.
But when you realize that you are a part of it, make that change and just deal with it.
Exactly.
Because that's the only way it's gonna stop. Then you can be a part of that ripple effect. But if you let shame and guilt keep you from being a part of that ripple effect, then it's gonna be hard to stop and make that change.
Exactly. And so that's the whole thing, man. Let's make a positive change. That's the whole point of what we're talking about right now. Let's make a positive change. Let's be that positive change. It ain't gonna get no better unless we make it better. Turning the blind eye don't make it better, and do not make it go away.
Amen again.
Good to get out of here, man. I don't talk. You know, I usually don't try to. I try not to talk that much. Go ahead, Rico, man. Cut it out, man. But it's 10:10, man. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DK, your media group and associates, and the Morning Glow for being a part of your morning. It is now 10:10. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. That we shine some of this light to you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in, and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. Take care of each other. And please, please, please be blessed. See you in the morning. If God say the same. And don't forget, Real Men Being Men tonight, 8 o'clock p.m., 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the same bat place, same bat channel, right here on DK Media Group and Associates. Have a great day. Love you all.